Yeah. So I always like to do some kind
Hello.
of damage control to make sure I have eyes on it.
Yeah, yeah, no. I hope we're back live right now. We should be. Double checo here. Yeah, we are live again. I don't know if I should delete that one. I'll keep a.
Yeah, you might have to.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I'm not seeing you though.
Yeah, you seeing the live though? The new live? Everybody live?
No.
You're not seeing the new live?
Mm-mm.
No.
Nice. It's not showing live.
No.
What's going on right now?
It could be a YouTube thing where there's just a lot of people on, so it's glitching. Because I'm looking at other things.
Yeah, it says
there's
I'm
no
live
one
on
else
my
that's live.
phone. It says I'm live on my phone. Let me click into it. Yeah, it says I'm still live.
No.
You don't see it on. Anybody in chat confirm that we are live? Right now, I am not seeing that.
Or it looks like it's popped up for me now. There we go.
We are back.
Technical difficulties.
yeah,
We're live.
Yep, we are back. It looks like after failure to launch. I will keep the other one up, I think. So if you're back from the other one, welcome. If you can go ahead and start, can you share that to our group chat with the gang? I'll go ahead and reshare it again.
Yeah, I'll put this into your chat.
I got two duties. Share, copy link. Go ahead back up here. We'll go ahead and share it up here. Go ahead and delete that.
There we go.
All right, let me go
Boom,
ahead.
bada boom, boom, boom.
Nice. There we go. All right, I already said that there, so we should be good. Tim, what's up? All right, so sorry about the technical difficulties. Babu, get on that. Babu, you get on that.
Right.
All right.
I think you need to hire new tech support. Babu's failing there, yo.
I know. I love you, Bobby, but come on. You got one job.
Jeez, Babu. Jeez.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I saw your picture you sent me. That is awesome. I'm glad you're unsuspended from SWTOR. Hopefully you learned something.
Lessons were learned, mistakes were
learned.
made.
Yep. So, anyway,
We love you, Timothy.
Yeah, yeah. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. I'll see you later. What?
I love you.
Anyway, so where did it crash off of against Drax?
It crashed off where you were making fun of him and his stupid parks, and he was saying, "Oh no, my parks are great. Your standards are too high." And I was like, "Yeah, no, they weren't. You have so many OSHA violations."
Don't worry, that one's still up.
They are docile. Okay, I have
They're
to
not
say it again.
docile.
Docile. Yes, they are. I made them
You
docile.
open up the
I made sure they were
those
docile.
gates and see what that T-Rex does. Those instincts will get real quick.
So anyway, what I was saying before we were rudely interrupted by the YouTube. Yeah, that's right. I said I'm not afraid. I'll say it. Thanks, YouTube. Please don't cancel me. What up, DB?
What's up, DB?
Powerhouse, you.
Yeah.
How dare you?
So, what I was saying was I was first introduced to Jurassic Park because that was the point we were trying to get to. So we're going to start with Jurassic Park as our first discussion topic. And then we're going to work our way to Star Wars and Planet of the Apes. So then maybe after that, depends on how long it takes us to do. We'll see. Anyway, we're gonna start with Jurassic Park 1 only. Jurassic Park 1. Right now, we're just starting with that, and then we'll work through Jurassic Park 2 and whatnot. We will bring up points during it. So. But anyway. Yeah, what? What were you laughing at, huh? You have a problem, bro? You got a problem? I will put, I'll put you in the corner. Don't make me put games on deck in the corner. Just kidding.
We got to put a little timeout cage in there somewhere.
Gotta put a little timeout cage. Put a little timeout cage filter on you. Mute you. Yeah. But I don't have control whenever you're in the Discord chat. That's right. So anywho, let's get on the topic here. So Jurassic Park. So whenever I first watched it, I was a young wee lad. I still am a young wee lad, but only older. No game today. I don't think I got to say that the last one. Shut up. No, Betsy.
I'm not either. My birthday's next week.
Anyway, I don't know if it went through. I am not able to game today. Is this? So we're just going to be doing discussions. So anyway, Jurassic Park. Let's get to the topic. So whenever I first watched Jurassic Park, I want to say it was in 96, 97. I want to say it was whenever the first time I watched it. And that was the stuff of nightmares, because I still remember one of the nightmares that I had from that movie, because I was at my dad's house. He lived in Mississippi, so we were just kind of, sleeping like usual, little babies. That was baby Yava. So I just remember going to sleep, and a very, very, distinct dream of me looking outside of the curtain next to the room, and there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the street. It was creepy, creepy stuff. So that Jurassic Park made an impact for me then, and I just loved it ever since. So just watching just those practical effects go along, and just the effects that hold up to this day, nothing can hold up like that. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see. I remember seeing that Spielberg wanted to originally try it with stop motion, but he didn't. He just went with, let's do animatronics. So I'm just like,
hey,
what?
Hey,
what?
He did animate it, okay?
He did animate.
Land Before Time. Oh.
Land before time.
Landator.
Before time, yeah. That was another one of he did a few dinosaurs. Did he do We're Back as well? Dinosaur?
Yes, he did We're Back as well.
He did.
Yep. So as we were I just remember watching it with Dad, namely with Dad. And I remember loving it. I love the VHS tape, the beautiful just case that went around the VHS tape of Jurassic Park. Oh, so beautiful. That just made such an impact. The first one just made such an impact, and it set up the row. And it was just, if anybody here in chat, the first time you see it, just go ahead, pop it up in chat. That'd be awesome. And it just, I cannot love this series so much. It's going to be very hard, because the top 3 that we're going to be discussing is literally my top 3 in all cinema history. So anyway, with Jurassic Park, it was just awesome just to see these dinosaurs come to life. And as a kid, you're like that Joe Rogan. We're like, oh, like that. It's epic. And anybody that was there, you know it. So we will start with the Yeti that loves spaghetti. How was your
that's right.
first,
I love spaghetti.
Yes. How was your first? What was your first memory to Jurassic Park? Seeing Jurassic Park 1.
So before we were rudely interrupted by YouTube's antics and stuff like that, yes, I said it. YouTube, come at me, but I'm not getting in trouble. It would be my brother. But anyway, my first experience with it was, I remember being at Mom's house, and we just kind of watched it all together. And I remember being really scared of the Dilophosaurus. And eventually I got away from that. That ended up being one of my favorite scenes in all of the first Jurassic Park. But what I was saying before is, it's, even though we're supposed to focus on the first movie, I think the second one is probably a step up in my opinion, when it comes to everything else. I mean, really. So
No, that's agreed on my part. Well, I love the second one.
second one is magnificent.
Yeah, it's like
More teeth.
yeah. Do you remember any dreams that you had of Jurassic Park? Like I had?
Actually, I do have one similar, except for we were in a vehicle. We were in a car, and actually, this one was with Mother too. And I remember the car going upside down while the Tyrannosaurus Rex was attacking us. And then I woke up. So
You lived a nightmare. The nightmare.
It was a
the
nightmare. I tell you what, I got some really weird nightmares. I even had one where Jason Voorhees he stabbed me in the chest, and I woke up from the death. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of like little horror movie, like bad dreams,
Nice.
but I love it.
That was in here. Son of a biscuit. Don't ask.
But everybody that's in the chat, I'm just letting you know. No, Jason Voorhees is watching. He can find you. It's not only Freddy that can enter your dreams.
I saw Freddy
Yeah.
versus Jason.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That is cinema art. Thank you.
It is. The fact that they did a weigh-in before that movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
If you
anyway.
really want to talk, if you really want to talk about that one. I love
Yeah.
the comedic blood.
Yeah, we'll get to that kind of stuff after we're done with our 3 topics here. Okay? We're getting off topic. We have 3 topics.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
That's right. Moderate, darn it, Babu.
3
Let's go.
topics. Come on,
Yeah,
Babu.
Babu.
Moderate. It's okay. You do a good job. You sit there quietly.
Hey,
Anyway,
staring at me.
we'll come after you. I'm not kidding. So, anyway, let's get to games on deck. Strax.
Broskies. So here's what I got for you. You know, in 1993, when that movie came out, I was in like kindergarten, and I actually watched it in theaters in kindergarten, and was absolutely horrified because we all thought it was gonna be a sweet little, dinosaur movie. No, total horror death scene.
Dad
But
brought
I
you
will
dinner.
say that Jurassic Park by itself is definitely probably my number 2 favorite movie. I'm not going to talk about my number 1 because I don't want to get off topic, but definitely my number 2. I think Wayne Knight, his portrayal of Dennis Nedry in that movie was absolutely fantastic. He did such a great job. And I think the puppet kind of helped with that, like we were saying earlier, because actors actually interacting with physical things, I think you're going to get better reactions than you are CGI any day. And he did wonderful. And I think he actually was nominated for an award for that. And I don't know if he received it or not, but I do remember he was nominated for that. But I mean, Sam Neill playing Dr. Grant and all, wonderful, wonderful effects. I will say this, while I'm on watch sometimes, I've actually gone through the entire movie in my head. So I might have the Sketty Yeti on that one as far as Jurassic Park being one of my favorites of all time. Because I could probably quote everything in it. I also have found probably every mistake that you can think of in that movie. Like every single mistake, like hands on puppets, things like that. But I just know that the effects of Jurassic Park are great. And I do have to agree. I think the second one probably stands out a little bit more today. The OG is always good. And the adaptation as far as the book goes is I think, appropriate for what it needs to be. But yeah, the 93.
Please note, chat, that he knew where all those mess ups were in the movie before YouTube gave them away.
Dang straight
Yeah.
I did.
And I remember watching the movie. We did a watch through one time, and all Strax would do see, there it is. Look at that one. I'm like,
What's that meme with Leonardo DiCaprio? What movie is that from? He's like, there it is.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah, yep.
Like
the-
12-year-old me. Look,
Yeah. So speaking of the mistakes with that movie, there was the one where you could see the hand on the raptor. There was, what was the other one? There was a few editing issues that they had where, like, with Muldoon, with the Spas 12, I think it was, where it showed him aiming it, but it was, like, tucked underneath his shoulder. But then the next one it showed, he was pulling it back up, but the stock was against his shoulder. That was funny. That was, because that was, like, one of the most obvious ones. What were some of the other ones? There was a few in there.
Doctor
Oh, did we drop?
He tells her to run is
Oh,
much
we dropped
different
you.
than what you see on film.
We dropped you for a second there, Strax.
Oh, you dropped me?
Yeah, we dropped you just for a second there. Is all. We still live?
Yeah, I was in. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So the Dr. Sattler, when she's like running towards the little pavilion, that's another one. Lex Pre falls off of the bones. Is going through. Yeah, there's quite a few in there.
Oh yeah, it's a piece of cinema history, but it's cool. It's funny that they kept it in there.
Yep.
I think it's just part of that's how they want it. They should. Not everybody's perfect, but hey, look at this. It's a great movie in cinema history. So.
Oh, the foreman of the mine too. When he banged his head in there, that actually happened to him, and they just kept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That actor legit like suffered almost a concussion. He's like, "Watch your head."
Yeah.
That actually happened to him.
Yeah, like here's another thing that I learned whenever Gennaro first gets up there on the little raft thing and he's being pulled in, that moment whenever he's pulling up and they're speaking in Spanish to each other, they say, "I bet you he falls," like after like 5 seconds or something like that, and he comes out and he falls and slips. They literally were making a wager on if he fell or slipped before he got off there. I'm like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And back to your whole Dennis Nedry thing, that was awesome. Just the portrayal there, and what is even better, you now have a Wayne Knight autograph.
Yeah, you guys hooked me up with that. It's probably my most treasured autograph that I have. I gotta get it framed because he's super cool. What's awesome about that scene though is he portrays the character beautifully. He was so smart, right? He figured everything out, but he could not fathom what that dinosaur was gonna do. Like, he's like, "Oh, stick, stupid. Yeah, fetch a stick. Oh, you don't like it?" Like he was like showing his intelligence, and then boom, nature just like totally destroyed him.
Oh, no wonder you're extinct.
I thought you were one of your big brothers. You're not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't remember that they're all
Such a
girls.
classic scene.
But yeah, it is. It's one of those films that will always. It set the curve of cinema. Each one of those movies did, which will move us to our next with The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Oh wow,
the best one.
Yes, the
opinion.
Yeah, no, I share that because I go back and watch it, and that's whenever I think Jurassic Park, I think The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and
honestly, it is, and it might be people might disagree with it. It is the superior film.
Oh yeah,
altogether, it's better. It's better made. It's. But that said, the first one will always be more nostalgic.
Oh yeah, first one will always be it. What started it all. Now, like with The Lost World, what really helped it, they merchandised the crap out of that.
One of the best lines in The Lost World of Jurassic Park. Man, is she mad at you?
Yeah.
It's so appropriate.
Mommy, the mommy's very angry. It's just a great film. David Kapp, who's returning for the new one coming out. So, kudos.
Nice.
I can't wait to see.
And you got to get a nice look of my favorite herbivore, the stego.
Oh yeah,
The Lost World as well.
Yep. A lot of that's one of the things I think they were supposed to be featured in the first film, if I'm not mistaken. They were because originally the Triceratops in the first one that you see was actually a Stegosaurus from in the book. So they took some stuff that were in the book. So it's not 100% shot for shot on the books, but yes, that's why we all recommend those books. Read those books, you'll love them. You have time.
If you like reading,
yeah.
If you like reading, if not, get the audiobook.
Yeah.
I mean,
do whatever. Do whatever. You're a human.
but the books are worth it. And honestly, just to be off topic a little bit, so is Jaws. The book Jaws is superior.
Oh yeah, really good.
The film too. So,
oh yeah.
But sorry to get off topic.
Yeah.
But
that's it. Oh no, that's good.
Gotta push that out. So.
The whole thing is it's movie time. We're
Also,
in
note though, we didn't get all of the original Jurassic Park because the hurricane that took place when they were filming ruined a lot of it
Yeah.
because it got destroyed.
Yeah.
The whole scene where freaking Samuel L. Jackson's character
Mutosaurus.
was supposed to get killed and all was in there, it just got taken out.
Yeah.
It was-
Roar. Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah. Yeah, that whole scene was actually gonna be filmed the day of the hurricane, the real life hurricane that actually hit. There was a real life
and
hurricane
you can
destroyed the set.
see the footage as actually from the hurricane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With the waves and all hitting.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's why the Rex broke, right?
I guess
yeah.
you should say typhoon out there.
Yeah. Yeah. The Rex broke because of the water, which Spielberg said that he never wants to work with water, and he gives kudos to anybody that ever works on a film with water with animatronics. He does not recommend it because Bruce the Shark was the biggest curse on cinema. That whole rate that
You gotta love Bruce.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a lot of glitches. So, but same with the T-Rex that I was saying about. There was the scene in there that whenever Lex and Tim are in the Explorer and it comes crashing down. I don't know if I mentioned it this one or the one before, but the one where it comes crashing down, that was actually happening to them because the water seeped in through all the skin or whatever. It seeped in through, hit the electronics in there, and this thing was just going down, and that was genuine. And Spielberg kept going with that, and that's why that kind of cinema was so great because it's like I said in my Jurassic Park series, roll with it.
I'm gonna terrorize these kids for cinema.
Yeah, but back to the Lost World. That movie, I just remember, I can't remember if I saw it in theaters, but I remember just watching it on film, and that was nightmare filled because they went a lot darker with that film. Even though they weren't actually 100% planning on the San Diego incident, but they just came up with it. I think it was was it Amblin that wanted them to do it or something? It was something. They wanted them to do the San Diego part of it, which was still awesome. I loved it. It's great. So, but it goes down as one of the darkest films, and it actually took, I think, the first attack in that book, which if you haven't seen it, spoiler. There's a first attack in that was that little girl. I think that was actually in the Jurassic Park 1 novel. There was so much darker in those films. So I think there was some pretty questionable stuff. Tim, if you love this series in the chat, if you love this series, I highly recommend the book. Either listen to it on audiobook or read it, whatever you feel. I highly recommend it.
So spoiler alert for anybody who actually have. I know everybody probably seen this movie. I mean, it was made in '97. But what are your favorite deaths in The Lost World? We can do Jurassic Park regular, like the original, if you want to.
Well, in Lost World, the karma death with the compies and what was his name? Diedrich, I think was his name.
Yeah.
That one was that was pure just awesomeness. Saddest one goes to Eddie Carr. I actually felt that one, like he was helping them, trying to save him, and then that was probably one of my most. It was the most impactful death that happened on cinema to me. He was trying to save
David,
David.
He got licked, and then the snake scared him, and then he got eaten.
Oh yeah, Burke.
And what's sad about that is the snake wasn't even poisonous.
No,
it wasn't. Red touches yellow, but it was red touches black. You're okay, Jack.
Yeah. Red touches yellow. You're a dead fellow. Red touches black. You're okay, Jack. So
but, your panic instinct, and he runs out there, and then
So it's just the first thing you see. Like,
all right, no one mentioned him yet, but let's put a shout out to the guy at the video store.
Oh, no. That was I think one of the writers, or it was somebody that was actually somebody that worked.
Just wanted to see a movie.
He was just trying to.
He was trying to run into the movie to get away from it.
Yeah, he didn't realize that they have apparently very good balance, and they're like, all right, hold on, hairpin turn.
Poor guy, he shouldn't have moved.
Diedrich's little friend that got stomped on.
My favorite was when the guy got eaten while He was on the toilet. Oh yeah, that was Gennaro. Gennaro in the first one. Yeah, that was the first. No, not the first death you seen, but the first dinosaur to human reaction death that like you saw. I think Nedry was shortly after that, right?
Yeah, it wasn't long after because he was on his escape route.
Yeah. And then the fact that he didn't know which way was east.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's
And he
dumb.
spins it real fast.
And then Mr. Arnold. That was a sad one because he died off camera.
Yeah, which we would have gotten a great one.
I wish we could have seen that scene.
Yep, I wish we would have gotten a certain scientist death in the movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Which I won't spoil anything unless you read the book. So.
Read the books.
Yeah, but yes,
Yeah,
Lost
so-
World. I remember watching that, and that scared the heck out of me when I was a kid. But we all remember the scene that if you had the VHS, you always remember that scene that was in the beginning, like before the credits and stuff rolled. It was some kind of music thing that was going on. Everybody remembers
Another
that.
random fact, guys, in the chat. The pterodactyls were originally supposed to be in the second one.
Yeah,
They were. Yep.
yeah, because that was actually there was supposed to be a hand gliding scene in there that they didn't film. And that was supposed to be Eddie Carr's original death.
Yes.
No.
So like, just seeing it, but there are much darker stuff in it. The book is much darker. There is some detailed stuff in the book. And
So what do you guys think? Do you think Nick Van Owen was actually a villain for what he did, for setting all the dinos loose and stuff?
Well,
the way
I think it's
yeah, the way I see it is, I don't think so, because if it wasn't for what he did, all those dinosaurs would have been brought to the mainland, and we would have gotten.
That's true.
Yeah, we would have gotten what happened in the future in that. So I'm just saying, like that right there.
he delayed the future.
Yeah. So like right there, I think he was totally justified. The bad thing that he did was bring the baby T-Rex back to the camper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mommy's very angry.
I think his heart was in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I mean,
One of the most random actors to have in one of those in a Jurassic Park movie. So.
yeah, and he just completely disappears.
Yeah, it disappears at the end. Nobody knows. Just
Yeah,
disappeared.
just gone.
Yep.
I think they explained that somewhere in the plot, but because they added the whole T-Rex thing, it got shifted or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was still.
Clayton
Like,
Fiore has a good take on it, I think.
Oh,
I haven't
yeah,
seen that
yeah.
video in a minute.
yeah, if any of you love Jurassic Park, check out Clayton Fiore. He's a great YouTuber. Great to me, a great human being. Everything he's doing. So he actually does not only that, he also has Dragon Curve where he looks at other videos too. Like he'll actually look at other movies. So he reviews them all. So he's not just doing Jurassic Park in those, he's doing everything. So I highly recommend Clayton Fiore if you love Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
Yep. And then it's just the Lost World is just it built a lot of love before it got so much hate, and that was really before like a lot of the social media and stuff. But it got a lot of hate just because of I think the San Diego scene and stuff. They wanted it to be more on an island, but I'm like, I don't know. This is pretty epic, and the toy lines that came out with it. I just remember all the toys. You had that. It was like a off-brand of the Rock'em Sock'em robots, but with Velociraptors.
Yeah, with raptors.
Yeah.
It's the red and blue one. I forgot about that.
Yep. And you had what the job was is you push the button. You push the button for them to do their thing. I think it was their head that kept going back and forth, and you had to hit a little button. Yeah, you had to hit a little button that was on their chest. So that was one of the cool ones. We had one of those. What are those? Telescopical things where you could look through and it had all the pictures from the movie, and you would push the little lever down.
Yep.
And you would hear, "Mommy's very angry," or you would, "Why does she have to touch it? Why does she always have to touch it? She can't not touch." You had it just going through there. So that was one of the cool. We had a lot of those. We had different dinosaurs and stuff. You had that race car track that had the Tyrannosaurus Rex on it. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Shocking kid since 1996.
yeah, yeah, and you had I think the
So,
Tyrannosaurus Rex would keep going up and down and whatnot and trying to.
I'm just bringing this up early. It deals with Ian Malcolm. Isn't it weird? I think Ian Malcolm is really different compared to the first one. He's more serious in the second one, and then you skip all the way to the Dominion one, and he's all weird again. What happened?
I guess after all this time, he just got annoyed, or he went
not-
crazy.
But he's weird again. He went back from being weird to serious to weird.
I guess that just goes to just character develop how Jeff Goldblum did his character development for Jeff. Well, yeah, Jeff Goldblum plays Jeff Goldblum in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Jeff
it's,
Goldblum, though, he plays an excellent
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
So,
let's
like,
be honest.
I don't. You're older than us. So. Do you remember Strax? If we went to go see that in theaters whenever it first came out?
Yeah, we did.
You did?
And you used to have to wear earmuffs back then
Yeah.
because you didn't really like really loud noises when we were
Yeah.
little.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was one. I don't think Tim did. I think he was a little too little, but I know you did
yeah. No, Timmy,
when we first.
he
saw
was
it.
easy with that kind of stuff. Me, it was a little bit. It took a little bit of adjusting for myself because just loud noises and stuff always got me whenever I was a kid, and like jump scares and stuff really got me bad as a kid. I'm a lot better
Mhm.
now than I was, but yeah, I used to have to wear earmuffs, which
The one I saw was Jurassic Park 3 in movie theater.
yeah, I remember Jurassic Park 3 because that's where the earmuffs really first came in, and that's a really good memory of our father that I have because he's the one that did it. He gave me earmuffs because he knew that I didn't like the sounds. So he
Mhm.
gave me those earmuffs, and we went in and watched, and I was able to watch it. Still jumped, of course, but it wasn't as bad because it wasn't as loud to me. So we went,
Yep.
watched it and stuff, and that's just one of the great memories of our father that I have. But one of the best memories was the surround sound that he had with Jurassic Park 3. So we're gonna go ahead and move to Jurassic Park 3.
Mhm.
Can I say something quick?
Yeah.
So the Spinosaurus is a far better dinosaur than people give credit to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I feel and Jurassic World Evolution 2 is one of my favorite games. Okay, when you play the campaign in that game, the Spinosaurus gets no justice. They
No.
kill him so quick in that game. The same Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3. They kill him.
Yeah.
The Raptors attack it and kill him.
Spoiler alert.
That should not have happened.
But it's not canon. It's just
No.
happened in the
No,
game.
because I won't. This is gonna go into spoiler territory here, but it really, it's up to anybody in here that wants to watch it. But here's your warning. So plug your ears. Don't leave, please. But it's, and I think the third or fourth season of Camp Cretaceous, they brought that Spinosaurus back.
Yep.
Mhm.
It
Yes.
lives.
Yes, Tim. The JP3 is one of the most memorable because that back to the whole. This is how our dad, tests his surround sound. The fact that it felt like you were in the movie, and that the floors were rumbling, and you could just. It was like you were there. You could hear it
Specifically
outside.
the fight scene.
Yes, the fight scene between the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Spinosaurus. That was.
So memorable.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest memories too of that movie was listening to that surround sound and just feeling like you were there. And
What's crazy is that same exact scene also ruined it for a lot of people.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
because
not the T-Rex, not
it-
the
yeah,
T-Rex.
yeah, because it divided, it put a little bit of divide there because people were like, no, you can't kill the face of. Did you notice the icon in the beginning of that is a Spinosaurus?
Mhm.
There's a new big bad in town. and you have to switch it because if you kept going with the same dinosaurs over and over again, you're getting repeat. And I remember back then that was one of the biggest issues that people had with the film was it kept being repetitive. Oh, we're back to another island. Now it's well, we're on the mainland. I want to go back to the island. Let's go back to the island now. But I'm like, I was okay with it. Like I remember some stuff that kind of I wasn't too like I wasn't a fan of because I wasn't a fan of the Kirby's at all. But but it also would have been weird because the original idea was to have campers in it. They were supposed to be college campers or whatever, and that's whenever Alan Grant was supposed to come in. But either way, I wasn't a big fan. That movie they they pushed it out. They weren't 100% with what they wanted to do.
It was a moneymaker. That's all
yeah.
it was.
Oh
was
yeah.
Just to make money.
Yeah.
But I will say I do like the two. Well, specifically the one. I can't remember his name. He played an Air Bud.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. He's just one of those actors that I only remember by face. But yeah. He has the saddest death in that movie. I think. Yeah.
He didn't deserve it. He didn't even want to be there.
No.
And Mr. Udesky. Yeah. I think that's Michael Jeter. Is that his name? Michael Yetter? I don't know how to say his last name.
I think so.
Something like that.
Or is it Norms? He plays Norms.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to him, by the way. He did pass away.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he was great. They had some great things that happened in there. But it was just it was one of those movies they just wanted to put out. And then that's whenever it kind of died down a little bit, and then it brings us into Jurassic Worlds. So whenever they finally announced Jurassic World, and we're like, yes, we're getting this thing. There's a lot of discourse whenever it comes to Jurassic Worlds, because to me, it's how it finished off to some. Me, I still enjoyed it. I enjoy it. I loved Jurassic World. Going to see that in theaters just brought everything back. It was definitely...
I actually appreciate Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. The reason I believe that is because the rumors that were going around before that script even happened was that they were going to be mutated dinosaurs with human DNA.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
A lot of people. The fandom.
So I actually appreciate Jurassic World that much more because they got rid of that.
Yeah, that's whenever the fandom united and said, "Heck no." We're not having I don't want to see I want to see dinosaurs. And that's kind of why I think it kind of went away, because it was starting to go away from the dinosaurs being a threat in Dominion.
Yes.
And Dominion, it took so much away, and that's why it went down the way it did. But with Jurassic World, I remember going to see that in theaters. I'm like, I'm back to being that 5-6-year-old kid. Just watching a new generation watching the same thing, and I love this film. I love Jurassic World. I love Fallen Kingdom. I'm okay with Dominion, but I still don't think it's terrible. I don't think some of the choices that they made, but Jurassic World,
it was a good bring back the whole series.
Yeah,
Jurassic World was good.
And it had something going, and it kind of went its route and tried to change it, and it just Dominion had tried to surround itself with the originals, but it went to a different threat. Like it felt like the dinosaurs were put in the back burner in that one.
I will say this because the people who wrote Jurassic World gave it to the fans. I mean, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Where Rexy was about to die. I think they should have, and this is a very unpopular opinion. I think they should have killed Rexy.
Oh yeah,
she is old.
Yeah, that is a lot of.
Because you see that in a lot of movies, they're afraid to kill off iconic characters or creatures. They're afraid.
Oh yeah,
they won't do it.
Oh yeah,
and you see that in a lot of things, and I think it would have made it a little better. And then you would have explored other T-Rexes. I mean, there was more.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was a lot. Like there was a few things, like whenever Fallen Kingdom came out, that there they were gonna announce it. Like there was an idea that the Spinosaurus was gonna be in there, but then it wasn't. They were gonna change a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm glad they didn't because it kind of keeps all these different things special, and you're trying to focus on something different, and that's what a lot of the studios are trying to do is do something a lot. They're doing stuff different from what it used to be because they remember all the complaints they got back then. They remember people being like, "Oh, this is too similar to this one," and so I want something different. How do we go different? Well, it's kind of hard to go different from from dinosaurs in a park attacking people to bringing them to the real world. To
And it's also hard to go different when you let, fan bases to an extent control your creative writing.
yeah, it's not you just doing your own thing. So yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you go into total left field. You know what I'm saying?
And
Yeah.
I'll even give you an example of this. Robert Kirkman let it happen in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Robert Kirkman let the fans kind of decide a
of the
little
Walking Dead, sorry.
Yeah.
If no one knows who he is.
Yeah. Oh
If
yeah.
no one knows who he does, but
Oh yeah, but we won't charter into that territory until maybe if we do his TV discussion.
yeah,
That's a whole stream in of itself.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, so yeah, just the Jurassic series and everything. It was just it made an impact in a lot of lives out there. A lot of people. It's the reason why we do what we do, and why we just enjoy what we're doing. I know a lot of people in here just. I know some people are new to it. Some people are just hopping into this new. What to them is a new genre. I wish I could see it for the first time. Like I watched somebody react to it. It's the reaction channel that I watch, EOM. He reacted. It was his first time watching it. Like he never saw it, and I think he's like in his 40s or whatever. He never saw this movie, so he saw it for the first time last year. I think it was. He enjoyed it. I loved his reaction. So check out his reaction to that series. It's freaking awesome. But to kind of move to our next topic, we'll do some final finishing. We'll let you two talk to with how you felt about just how Jurassic Park went from, we'll say 3 to Dominion and stuff. Your feelings on it. So we'll go with you first, Strax.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm a nostalgic kind of person because I was born in the 80s. You know, I grew up with those movies, so I'm always partial to the OGs. So I'll always stick with them. But you also got to reach new generations and play with things like that. But overall, Jurassic Park is something that will always live iconically. You know, you're always going to sell toys with it. Kids love dinosaurs. My daughter loves dinosaurs these days. I love sharing that with them in my own history. What's funny is you get some of the younger generation. What do you mean the original Jurassic Park? Isn't that what we just saw? No, yeah. But I mean, it's got to adapt and evolve as it goes. But you know that series is definitely a very impactful thing for us as kids, and I'll always treasure it. That's why JP1 is in my top 5, and it will always be there.
Yep.
So, that's my take on it.
I think the series went okay. Just okay though. From 3 to Dominion. The only reason there's a few things that I have that I don't like about the last movie, and that's the giant
Locust
things. The locust, yeah. And
that's
that
weird.
part. But other than that, the movie itself, if anybody hasn't done it already, watch the extended version.
Mm-hmm.
It is a far superior film
for sure.
when it comes to just the theatrical.
Yep.
So if you just watch theatrical, you're not gonna like Dominion, period. But if you like, if you watch the extended version, you're gonna like. I did like Dominion overall, but there's a lot of things they could have done much better.
So we're kind of in similarities with that. They could have done a lot better, but it still.
But I'm not disappointed.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm not disappointed.
No.
So,
that's.
But where you can get a little disappointed is with the series, but that's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's a lot of like. There's a lot of people, which is a good thing. You got to be in. You have your opinions, and that's how it's supposed to be. Like we all have different ones. Some of we have the same stuff, and I remember going and seeing all of those movies with us. I think I saw each and every one of them in theaters with all of you. Like all the newer ones.
Yeah, at least you and I did. We saw all
Yeah.
3.
Yep. You were doing your thing, Strax.
I know.
I don't want to say too much about your in real life.
Yep.
So
Yeah, no, you're good.
yeah, but yeah, it's a great series overall and stuff.
Guys, he's a secret agent.
Shut up.
Did you ever see Ace Ventura? That's
Great. Thanks a lot. All right.
Well, that's a series. I could get into Ace Ventura. But
Oh,
anyway.
Oh yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is Star Wars. Oh yeah, Star Wars.
Everybody knows Star Wars, yo.
Everybody knows Star Wars. Somebody has at least seen or heard of Star Wars. Doesn't matter in this day and age. Everybody has seen or heard of Star Wars. So.
What Star Wars? I thought it was the same universe as Star Trek.
You get that's it. Take them.
What's better, Star Wars or Star Trek? Go.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Let the games begin.
Stargate.
What do you say, chat? Star Wars or Star Trek? Go. I think we got some bias. All right.
Now with this one, we're not gonna get. There's so much in Star Wars, so we're gonna stick mainly to the original and prequels, but we will dive into the sequels for a bit too, just to kind of keep it in.
And say we did. I'm just kidding.
For 7 days, I was. Yes, you were. Hopefully, never again. But anyway,
you
so
watched that videotape, didn't you, Timotheus?
he was literally suspended from SWTOR for talking about some
That's all good.
things. But anyway, I digress. So Star Wars. So the first time I was ever introduced to Star Wars, I swear, was Revenge of the Sith, or not Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi. That was the first time. I always thought that movie was the first movie. I didn't realize that there was a fourth and fifth one. Because I watched, I think, Return of the Jedi, then Empire Strikes Back. So I thought that was the second one, and then the fourth one. Don't ask. I was very confused.
Didn't we watch that at Mom's Friends?
I remember watching it at Mom's Friends, but I think the first time that I can't remember, we watched it with Dad.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was with
Yeah, no,
her friend's son.
Yeah.
I thought.
yeah, because I remember.
I remember Empire Strikes Back as the first one I seen. Either that, or I just had the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi mixed, like just mixed together as one film.
Yep. And I didn't realize it till Phantom Menace came out. I'm like, wait, what? So then I remember watching 4, 5, and 6, and I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. So I just growing up, I remember going and watching Phantom Menace in theaters and jumping because same thing that happened with Jurassic Park, loud noises. So first time seeing whenever they go shields up and then poof, it blows up the ship. Oh, that I jumped at that. It didn't frighten me. I just jumped. But that's another movie like The Lost World. The nostalgia with that movie. This is why the prequel trilogy goes out to being a really good trilogy. In my opinion, my favorite. The merchandise that came with it helped that movie big time. They were on top of that. George Lucas knew what he was doing. So I just remember all the stuff that came, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut and stuff. You had Pepsi where you could get, I think it was different, like light side and dark side, if I'm not mistaken.
It was Phantom Menace.
Yeah, for Phantom Menace.
Yep.
Oh, it goes to being some of the greatest memories to have whenever it comes to the prequel trilogy, because as much as it's been hit on throughout Star Wars history, it's definitely grew throughout the years with a lot of people, that how iconic it is. and you don't realize it. And what made it more iconic was what Clone Wars did, and helped push it even further. And I just remember whenever all that stuff came out, I'm just like, oh wow. So getting back to Phantom Menace and stuff. So for Phantom Menace, I love Darth Maul, because it's literally that scene whenever you're just sitting there and you just see Darth Maul, it open up, you hear Duel of Fates start playing, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be intense. And then you see first lightsaber blade, and then the second lightsaber blade, and you're like, they have two of those? And you had one Sith going up against two Jedi. Trained Jedi, even though Obi-Wan was a Padawan. I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. So yeah, with the Phantom Menace, I love that movie. I do love that movie. Yeah, it has some moments that have annoyed a lot of people. Jar Jar in there and stuff, but it still goes to this day.
Guys, Darth Jar Jar is canon.
But yeah, no, it's like you see all this stuff and like the kind of, you see that people don't realize there was a lot of divisiveness or divisiveness back then that a lot of people didn't even realize that were with that movie. The only reason I knew that there was backlash is growing up, being in school at that time. I heard it everywhere. They're like, oh, no, that was stupid. Jar Jar is the worst thing that ever happened and stuff. And I'm like, okay, then of course I fell on that bandwagon, just following what people said instead of actually making my own opinion. But no, I love that film because no matter what, you go back and you think Star Wars, you think a lot about that kind of stuff. Or at least I do.
And guess what? Jar Jar is part of that. Boom.
Yep, Jar Jar is part of that.
Jar Jar haters.
Yep. Anakin.
Misa the real Sith
I'm
Lord.
so glad that the popularity grew up throughout these years with them, because Anakin Skywalker really moved up to being very iconic, not only just as Darth Vader, but as Anakin Skywalker. And you can see them both as two different beings. As much as like people are like, oh, they're the same people. Whenever somebody comes up to you and says, oh, they're the same people, no. Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker are two different beings.
Really, that's what Star Wars is. It is his story, and then it just kind of got shifted with the new stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of... Jar Jar is awesome. I'll say it. Like, Jar Jar, he had his moments where you're like, really? Really?
So I got a question, Timotheus. Was Jar Jar really clumsy?
Dun, dun, dun.
Or did he utilize a form like the drunken master?
Yeah. But anyway, let's get to the first time you saw Spaghetti Eddie with Phantom Menace.
So I don't really remember the first time I saw it, but I will tell you. So for the longest time, I remember those movies based off taste.
Taste?
Now hear me out. So for some reason, when I ate back in the day, obviously we know the reason too. When we ate Taco Bell, I thought of the old trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So when we watched The Phantom Menace, it was big at Pizza Hut and obviously Pepsi. But I think of the original back then stuffed crust pizza.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that taste. So I have some weird kind of like connection between like restaurants and the actual movies. So when I think Phantom Menace, I think, oh, stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. And then when I look at the old trilogy, oh, the old fashioned freaking Taco Bell taste.
Mm-hmm. We still have the N1 Starfighter, I think, at Mom's house. N1 Starfighter that came with that. And what was the name? Newt Gunray. We had the Newt Gunray where he was sitting on that little spider chair thing he had. We still have that one, I think, to this day too.
And I actually have two favorite characters. I finally like wound them down, and people can hate me on this. But R2-D2 obviously is one of my favorites. And then I actually surprisingly really like Jabba the Hutt.
Nice.
Jabba.
What's up, JS Productions? Welcome, man.
Whoa. JS, you here? Where's she at? There you are. Sup, JS? How you doing? JS.
Sorry, I'm trying to give shout outs to ELs.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I didn't see it pop up here. I blame you, YouTube. They know YouTube, so yeah. No, JS, you're awesome. You awesome. So, but no, yeah, I remember those toys. You remember the Darth Maul T-shirt I had when I was a kid? It was the one. It's the green one, and it glowed in glowed in the dark. It's part of my American English. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you had that one, and then I had the Anakin Skywalker race pod. I think that's how it was.
Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, I might be going back there, JS.
Yeah, take you back, man. Just come see me in California. Let's go.
Money, okay. Time. Yeah.
No excuse. Work overtime.
Money.
Bobby, I heard that it was a free plane ride from Straxwell Production Studios.
Oh, thanks, Strax.
Yeah, we're a bit on a budget crunch there. You know, views have been down.
He also mentioned a check.
No, I didn't. What check?
What? You're getting paid?
Hold on, I'll get my little Karibo to help you. There you go.
I need your guidance, LOL.
All right, we're getting off topic. Let's get back to it.
So back with Star Wars. But yeah, no, I had that. I remember the Anakin Skywalker Pepsi machines. I remember just seeing them everywhere. The Anakin actual Pepsi cans and Darth Maul cans and stuff. It's pretty much a lot of the stuff. I just it was iconic. They're watching Phantom Menace. Strax, you old man.
I know, right? I don't know if I could go with all the viewers here or link with them, but I kind of grew up between both generations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think my earliest memories of Star Wars was I remember seeing the I think it's the ATTA walkers way back from Empire. Maybe that's my earliest.
Yeah, AT-AT.
And then AT-ATs. What did I say? ATTA? Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, seeing those, and then I don't know if you all know this game, but Star Wars Masters was an old fighting game where you could play as the iconic characters, and fight each other. And then you
Power
had to take on
battles.
Vader, and he just totally destroyed you if you got to him. It was hard. It's like Tekken Star Wars.
Was that on the Nintendo or was that on PlayStation? Because I think I'm remembering that game because I remember you playing it.
Yeah. I really don't remember. I just know it's Star Wars Masters.
Yeah, it wasn't Power Battles. It wasn't the one where you could play. It was because I remember it was first person, right?
Yeah, and it was like Tekken. Like you fought like Tekken characters.
No. Now I know it. Now I know what you're talking about.
I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, now I
remember playing that at Destin's Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a friend down there that we used to play with. But anyway, I'm more of an OG trilogy kind of person. I mean, I was back whenever Yub Nub was a thing, and Ewoks were the most hated thing in Star Wars. Of course.
Oh, so you were a big fan of the Ewok movie. Yeah.
We're not getting to that. We're talking about the OG trilogy here, okay?
And the Star Wars Christmas special.
No, you stop right there. Okay?
Those
Empire Strikes Back, hands down, the best Star Wars movie ever made. Freaking love it. You can debate that all you want. I might turn heads with it, but definitely the best of the series.
Which one?
The Empire Strikes Back. And it also has the most misquoted Star Wars quote in history where it says, "Luke, I am your father." That's not the quote. He says, "No, I am your father." That is the actual quote.
No,
It's
impossible.
Hey, you two, calm down. I will send Katie to get you.
It's improbable.
So anyway, now I'm gonna touch up on some chat here. So # yes, Tim is free. You are out of
Him as
Slow
Frito.
Tor's jail. I've never. What the heck's going on with my mouse right now? Oh, I know what's going on because I'm on that. Anyway, so anyway, I've never been to Galaxy's Edge. I really want to go. Plus, also to kill my wallet. Yes, it is a kill your wallet style thing. It definitely is, because whenever I went there, I had to stop myself. There were helmets that I wanted to get. It was Ahsoka's clone legion that was gifted to her.
I let you get the Babu though.
You did. I'm a Babu.
You almost got that helmet.
I almost did, but I'm like, I better not. I can only put so much on. Maybe whenever I go back, but I still got to get the rest of his family. So
yes, you should have watched it. I'm just saying. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I suggested and watched the holiday special on Thanksgiving with my family. Worst idea I've ever had in my whole life. LOL.
Totally should have watched it.
That sounds like a tradition right there.
It needs to
I
happen
would
every
make that
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Every Thanksgiving, yeah, you sit down with your family and say, let's watch this.
The original
Still-
Harry and the Hendersons, except with Chewbacca.
Yep.
Now, there was some weird stuff that happened in there. That was the first time I think we were introduced to Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett. And the Great Dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah, Great Dragon, I think it was. Holiday special
You mean
sequel
the
trilogy.
skeleton laying in the
I
fan?
saw that one.
I agree with you. Holiday special,
Oh, wait.
greater than the sequel trilogy. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
you're not wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I have met people that love the new trilogy, and you know what? To each their own. If you enjoy that kind of thing, you go ahead and you enjoy it.
Yava, give him a special noise. Give him a special noise. He needs it.
This is where the fun begins.
That one? No.
Hello there.
I don't know which noise we're looking at.
That one?
Come on, just choose one.
No, you can't hear it. You can't hear it.
Can't hear it.
See, no, it's because I'm doing it under another thing. Hold on, I'll do it under here.
Where's Babu? There
There
it
we go.
is.
Bad baby.
Okay, so anywho, let's get back to our.
I can agree with that. The first ever Star Wars animated. Yeah.
Yeah, first ever Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, with Boba Fett. Yep. You got to see it. They had another one that had I can't remember. I think it's on Disney Plus and the retro stuff. The old droid series. There was an old droid series with C-3PO and R2-D2 on there, I think. Yeah, now this is pod racing. And it also comes with Phantom Menace was a pod racer game, which turned into Star Wars Racer because copyright. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, that was a great series. I actually had Strax. He kind of coached me through. It was offhand. I really should do it on hand. Stream it one of these days if I can. But
That would be a fun series where I'm just your coach as you
Yeah.
race on this thing.
yeah, it was like Mickey from Rocky. But anyway, let's
Yeah.
get back to it. So, did I get through both of you for? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Now for Attack of the Clones. This is one of my favorite memories of Star Wars. It's like the first time you got to see Yoda fight, and
Oh yeah.
Dad's reaction. to
Iconic.
that. Dad's
Mhm.
reaction to that is the best memory I have ever had of Star Wars, hands down. Was whenever he called Yoda a bad little dude,
hmm
and Yoda was a bad little dude in that, because it's the first
Can
time you
we-
actually got to see him jump around, and I will always remember that scene, watching it at his house on the big screen with the surround sound playing, and it's to this day why I stick with Star Wars as long as I have stuck with Star Wars, because it was such a great memory of Dad, and just to keep on remembering Dad saying he's a bad little dude, and just his
Yep.
reaction to that whole movie is why I love Star Wars so much to this day.
hmm
Let's
Yeah.
get a shout out to the awesome mega attractive Natalie Portman.
Oh yeah,
Um,
everybody in there was awesome. I was born
Um,
months after Attack of the Clones came out. 2002 was a crazy year for a movie. Yes, it was. I'm trying to remember some of the stuff, but I think wasn't Spider-Man out? Spider-Man 2 came out for that because I think Spider-Man 1 came out in 2002. Spider-Man 2.
yeah, that was Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
Doc
my
Ock.
gosh,
which
has that been that long?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
2002, Doc Ock. That was actually the best. They're saying the best out of those three.
I think Chamber of Secrets came out too. Chamber of Secrets came out as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a lot of really great
Yeah.
movies in the early 2000s.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was an awesome year. It was an awesome year, but like the memory right there alone, it trumps every memory I've ever had of Star Wars, and trumps anything that goes on now. Whatever I'm feeling or everything, I always bring myself back to that memory. So, but yeah, let's go to Spaghetti for Attack of the Clones, because I remember going and seeing this in theaters and also jumping at the part where the ship gets blown up in the beginning. Another one of those great times.
I think the very iconic, other than
Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
awesome love story that was written in Attack of the Clones.
That's so wrong. Oh, Anakin, I'm a senator. Sorry, I think of that meme every time.
She was
He's like, "Oh."
she was totally seducing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes
But
both
anyway,
ways.
but anyway, yeah, the Yoda fight was probably the most iconic in Attack of the Clones. But I actually really like the when Anakin and Padme, C-3PO, and R2-D2 get to Geonosis, and basically go in and try to save. Yeah, they go and try to save Obi-Wan. So, and the iconic quote from Obi-Wan Kenobi: "Good job."
Good work. Good work. And the fact that they both Hayden Christensen and you wait. Ewan McGregor. You thought you got me there, didn't you, Strax? Huh? Not able to remember. I did. You almost had me.
You'd owed me.
Oh yeah, no, I'd owed everybody in here an apology. I would have had to do a whole apology if I didn't remember Ewan McGregor, because Ewan McGregor was Obi-Wan at that point was my favorite character, and I might get a little bit of a slap here from some people, but I was on the Ki-Adi-Mundi favorite bandwagon myself because I wanted to be different. Don't hate me.
Kid Fistu.
Don't hate.
Kid Fistu.
Monday.
Well, a lot of people don't like him, and it was even before what recently went down. I'm not going to spoil anything. So I already spoiled.
My favorite was Kit Fistu and his big smile to C-3PO's head.
Yeah. But JS named some other movies that I remember: Lilo and Stitch, 28 Days Later, live action Scooby Doo, all great movies. Tim mentioned Two Towers.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
there was really a golden age.
It was early 2000s. Freaking all great movies, all of them, every one of them great. 28 Days Later creeped me out whenever I first saw it. By the way. But
rabid monkeys.
Yeah, rabid monkeys.
I think maybe
rabid humans.
The least best, and it's still a decent movie, was Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that movie.
It's still a good movie, even though it's probably the least best out of all of the ones that are listed there. But I really enjoyed the live actions actually for Scooby Doo.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, I remember watching those. And I think we saw the second one in theater, or the first one in theaters, or we might have seen them both. That was a long time ago.
We've seen them both.
22 years ago. But no, it's Attack of the Clones is, no matter what anybody says, a lot of people had an issue with the relationship stuff, and Anakin was too whiny in it. I remember some of the complaints. That was some of the complaints back then, and I'm like, I don't care what you say. It brought us one of the greatest game franchises too. Battlefronts.
Did Flintstones Rocks Vegas come out around that time too?
I think so. I think that Viva Rock Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
That one
That
came
wasn't
out
a bad
then.
movie
No,
then too.
no, they had a lot of good movies come out then. But yeah, no, the hate that was surrounded around just the entire, but a lot more hate with a few things, but you don't realize it. It really isn't a lot of hate. But I just remember the people complaining about how depressing Anakin was, that the whole love story thing, it just took away from it. It still brought in some of the greatest games ever, which was the Battlefront games, Clone Wars.
All right, so let's just think about this part when Anakin's in that little, like, I don't know, that kitchen thing in the house, and he throws that whatever he's
holding me back,
angry, and then you switch the clip to the clip in Waterboy, and it's Colonel Sanders.
Oh yeah, some people's editing.
Oh man, it's brought some good memes, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, just the whole thing. It's like, they were just starting out. Hayden Christensen was still new to acting, so still trying to find himself whenever he was doing that movie. But like, I think that movie just still goes down as, no matter what anybody thinks of, whenever they think of the prequel or the prequel trilogy, a lot of people will think of that movie. But still, it's still, I love that movie. Now, Strax, what did you think?
All right, I'm gonna just shoot the bear. We can't forget John Williams through this, okay?
Oh,
I gotta say, his prequel trilogy music is like the peak of his musical career. It was fantastic how he brings all of those scenes to life. Even in, I mean, we'll stick with Attack of the Clones right now because you kind of get that little vibe between 1 and 3 or whatever. But the music was fantastic. Visually, it was great. I think there was a lot of things that get overlooked just because, the third episode is probably the favorite of the trilogy. A lot of people don't go back to see it, the second one, that often, so it gets overlooked. Fantastically written. I loved it. And JS Productions brings up a really good point down there. This is where Anakin starts to really dive into his Vader role, and she put it exactly right, to avenge his mother, not just the men and the women and the children too, and he's going through all of that. Because there he is, isolated from the one little thing he had, which was his mother, and now he's got this new pathway with Padme going through, which links all of that together. It's actually just wonderfully written, and I think it gets overlooked quite a bit. So I liked Attack the Clones. I thought it. I think it's up there. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Now, I'm with JS also on the Matthew Lillard thing. Everybody did it. Loved Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. And yes, that is who you picture really as Shaggy, the real life Shaggy anymore. And I can't wait because I know they're trying to come out with another one. Mm-hmm. I think it's supposed to be a little bit more geared towards the grown up kids from those days whenever it first came out. But yeah, the Attack of the Cones.
The Coneheads.
I was gonna say that's a sequel to Coneheads.
Yeah, Attack of the Cones. Keanu Mooney's the main character. Yeah, Keanu Mooney's the main character.
Coneheads episode 2, Attack of the Cones.
Where's Hannah? Where's Hannah at? We're gonna have Attack of the Cones. Where's gonna be?
All right, let's make it, everybody. Let's do it. We have the cast right here.
I gotta make a just little photoshopped image of just all the Ceruleans or whatever, I think is what it is. Them just in their Attack of the Cones. We're just gonna do that. So yeah,
sometimes they feel like they got to get away.
and get away. Yeah, but yeah,
I see what you did there.
Especially when also Attack of the Clones was our first insight to Anakin's turn into Darth Vader, especially when he used the dark side to avenge his mom. Yeah. And you're like, oh, something's going to go down in the next one. And that will lead us into Revenge of the Sith, which in my opinion is my favorite out, because a lot of people will say Revenge of the Sith because it is great. Everything that went into it was great.
That was
You? What?
Whether you like it or not.
Oh,
Yes,
he's in
yeah,
episode 3, or is it 2?
Two. Two, I think. It
2,
is.
yeah.
No, one.
Yeah, when they're up in the council, you can see their little species there.
Yeah, it's one.
Yep.
It's one. It's one.
It's one.
It's one. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
That's why when he saw Yoda, he recognized Yoda on Earth.
And he
Who
uses the
looked-
Force. You saw him
Yes.
make the planets float, or the little balls to make the planets.
Mm. Yeah, it definitely, like, with Revenge of the Sith, of course, you got the choreography in that movie alone, and the score, it's everything I feel that Star Wars fans were waiting for, with just they finally got to see Vader become Vader. And some of the darkness, yeah, we didn't get to see the darkness, but like, we got to see the darkness, but I'm talking about the other darkness thing, which was the younglings, which
Yeah.
not a lot of people will ever want to see that, including me. I'm glad how they went with it, but it's like
Yeah.
that movie just kept flowing each and every time. It kept flowing with just the plot, everything flowed. And just seeing, like, especially after Clone Wars and going back and watching the whole trilogy up to that point, it made the connection with the clones a lot deeper, and made that a lot deeper because you actually got to feel that these clones, who were so close to a lot of their commanders, with the exception of Ki-Adi-Mundi, by the way, which I know it's Legends right now, I think. He was the last one that was killed in Order 66 because his clone battalion were trying to figure out how to do it. Because this was all before the inhibitor chips were ever made, by the way. I'm pretty sure it was all before the inhibitor chips. But they were all literally waiting for the right moment just because of how Ki-Adi-Mundi was. They waited to get him on that bridge to where he had no other place to escape, because they knew if they did it into, like, say, like in a wooded area or a very enclosed area, he would have been able to escape no problem, because he was, I think, the third in command of the Jedi Order. He was up there with Yoda. But this is, I'm pretty sure, just Legend. But he was still up there because he was kind of a little bit underneath the Force power of Master Yoda. I was watching a video on it a little bit back. It was from that Stupendous Wave. He was kind of explaining some of that lore stuff about it, and I'm like, holy crap! But his command, he had the highest death count of all the Jedi of his clone battalion. He lost the most clones, and his commander kind of hesitated at first, but he finally did it. Just because he knew how Ki-Adi-Mundi was, but he still kind of had, like, a little bit of a respect, but he didn't fully respect him because, let's face it, you get a lot of if somebody gets a lot of your brothers killed like that, there's no way that commander is going to be well liked. So that's one of the big reasons. His whole thing with him being allowed to be married and have kids and stuff and form attachments. He was the only one allowed to, was because his species was dwindling.
Yep.
So he was allowed to that. Yeah, but he was also not the greatest. Even though he had a force power where he could see kind of into the future slightly, to where he was able to predict moves and stuff. That's one of the reasons why they waited for so long. So. But anyway, let's get back to the movie portion. I'll keep going into other rants with. I could keep going with Star Wars all over the place, but we don't have a lot of time. We got to get to the Planet of the Apes too. So anyway, Attack of the Clones Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith is the goat of all Star Wars to me. Is the goat. Because of the cinematography, the score, everything, they took their time and they made sure that it was done right. The chemistry between Obi-Wan and Anakin, the chemistry was a little bit, not completely off for me, but it was there with Padme and Anakin, with Natalie Portman and Hayden. The chemistry was kind of there, but it wasn't fully there because I feel like we needed a little bit more time with it. But it was kind of built up through how they actually were in the Clone Wars and stuff. But I still love them both, so don't get me wrong. I still love them. I love every single one of them. But yeah, it's you got to see the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire in the darkest moment, and Lucas did not want to disappoint.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and go to spaghetti with Revenge of the Sith.
I love it, but I still kind of agree with Straxwell that the most iconic is probably Empire Strikes Back. I mean, I Am Your Father scene, obviously, and then all of that. But I think, obviously, Revenge of the Sith is necessary, but it just brings everything together, that movie, which is why it's high up on that list for me. It's literally that bridge to everything, and I just appreciate that movie mostly. And then I remember it. See, Kid Fister die so easy made me mad, but
oh, wait till you find out what his
So-
actual death was going to be.
what was his actual death?
So let's just say he got decapitated and his head ended up on the table.
Oh, same scene though.
I think it went a little bit longer too in the book.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that said, to my understanding, that fight was actually a lot faster than what we could have seen.
Yes.
On the screen.
Yes, that was
So,
it. Was I think even proven.
I get it, but I think Kid Fister was a powerhouse.
Oh yeah, Kit Fistu was. He was
And,
there.
I don't like how he died, but it's okay.
Nah.
But that brought the movie down for me a little bit.
Yeah.
Badly.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, the story with Anakin Skywalker turning Darth Vader and all of that, it brought everything back together. But I think they should have definitely left one of the scenes in there, or not one of the scenes, but one of what Anakin said, "Master, help me." I think
Mhm.
that would have been much more touching.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
that was the last hope for Anakin, and then it's denied.
Mhm.
So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's so much with that. Like, I really need to actually read the novel for it because it dives more into their thoughts during it. And there was during that scene whenever I think Anakin was staring out and Padme was staring out, and they were in two different areas. Palpatine was speaking through the Force to Anakin, telling him about all this stuff. That's how he ended up finally snapping. It didn't help that the Jedi were just so in their ways, dogmatic and stuff.
Mhm.
That's why.
And honestly, I think
was.
the Revenge of the Sith also brought one of the best. I know we're going to video games for a second. One of the better video games.
Oh yeah, that game goes down. That is.
I mean, that is an iconic. We played that crap out of that game.
Yep. Yeah, I'll never. I knew they had a multiplayer version where you could go through the just small stories. I think it was. It wasn't like the big stories. So, but it was definitely a definitely an iconic game. So Strax.
Oh man, I got so much that I could probably put an entire series on Revenge of the Sith. Of the prequels, definitely the best, hands down. But what I loved about it is that you saw the fall of the greatest of Jedi. Like
Mhm.
Mace Windu, for example, you had probably the best saber user, aside from maybe Dooku. I always say that.
Mhm.
Mace Windu going down, literally by the one person he didn't expect. You know, the up and coming Anakin, who in my mind probably should have been made a master. He was a prodigy. He was incredible. Saw the death of his kindness. You saw the loss of our greatest Force user in Master Yoda. You know, he was the greatest Force user probably ever, until he was dropped and stuff. And the way that I think Lucas brought all of that to life and the scenes, the way he pulled it all together was just done so unbelievably well. And you really feel the tragedy of the fall of not just the Jedi, but Anakin himself, because in the end, it was all about his love for Padme, you know, and all of that. And it was just taken by Sidious and his plan. And it really showed us how truly evil and sadistical the Emperor was from the original trilogy, and how he rose to power and what he did to get there. So I just think that Revenge of the Sith is one of the greatest of Star Wars. It's not my tops. I'm still with The Empire Strikes Back because it's just where it was at the time. But definitely of the prequels, it's probably my number 2 of all the Star Wars that have come out. Amazing movie.
Mhm. Yep. I'm gonna get some chat in here.
Yeah.
So from Jazz, well, actually, let me start from. So Timotheus, I love you guys. Also, for when we talk about Planet of the Apes, I say ape, not kill ape, and my favorite is Beneath. I love
I
that
gotta
one.
talk to you about that, Timotheus.
Oh, and Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars. Yeah. All right. JS Productions. I absolutely love our Revenge of the Sith. I almost said RTS. Not only is it the most darkest film and where the bad guys win, but also it is the film where Anakin finally snaps. His turn was not rushed. It was building up through the first half of it. Not only the first movie, the second movie, and now with the Clone Wars, and also Anakin mistrust in the Council, which that started from the lying about Obi-Wan's death, his hatred for the Council, snapped in this movie, and he just had enough and literally fulfilled his destiny in the movie. Yes, and I 100% agree. If it was not for Clone Wars, like Clone Wars didn't exist, I feel like there would still be a lot more division with the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
But like the way that like I'm so glad because the original plan was it just to be focused on Ahsoka and Rex and not really focus on Anakin or Obi-Wan. George Lucas stepped in and he's like, no, I want to add on to this story. I want to build up these prequels because he didn't have enough time. If he were to focus on everything, he would have never been able to do it.
Yeah.
So now you got the everything between, like JS said here, with them lying about Obi-Wan's death, them convicting his Padawan, a lot of that kind of stuff. His Anakin had all this mistrust, and just to learn in this movie after everything he did, that he finally earned Mace Windu's trust after everything he did. He has finally earned Mace Windu's trust, which Mace Windu is a great Jedi, but he had a huge hand in why Anakin fell. Because he just kept putting, because he sensed that darkness and he was afraid of Anakin instead of trying to be there.
But didn't Mace Windu also, wasn't he able to tap into dark side?
Yeah, Vapad.
So maybe
That's what he was afraid of. So Mace Windu, it's funny you bring that up. He actually had Padawans learning Vapad, but they would fall to the dark side, which is, I think, another reason why Mace couldn't quite give him that realm, because he knew the danger of tapping into that, and you had to have absolute control. Absolute control in order to utilize it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that Mace Windu felt that he was closer to being a chosen one than Anakin.
Yeah.
Because of his balance. The fact
Mm-hmm.
that he made Vapad, that he was able to use one's dark side against him. That's why I'm pretty sure, I think Lucas still to this day says that he did win that fight.
Oh, he
Just-
did. He said he did win the fight.
Yeah.
It was Anakin
So-
that overall
Mm-hmm.
won.
So technically, didn't Mace Windu die by pride?
I would say that he died by not allowing Anakin to fully come out as a Jedi, like
Mhm.
to beat his ex. Had he have allowed Anakin to do that, it might have been a little bit different.
Mhm.
Because the whole reason he died was because of Anakin. A lot of people think, oh well, it was the Emperor and his games.
Well-
Anakin's restraint in that movement because of his fear and that seduction to the dark side, and him not guiding Anakin to the light side, I
Well-
think is what caused his downside.
Yeah, but doesn't that show kind of that Mace Windu was getting a little bit out of control because he was just going to strike him down? It's not a Jedi way, so he would have went against the Jedi code.
Well, he almost listened to Anakin. If you look, that's why he was saying no. He's like, I really want to listen to Anakin, but I have to stop him. You know, I
but
have
it's
to stop this
dangerous.
because he knew the danger of the Sith Lord. It wasn't a pride thing. He knew how dangerous Palpatine was because Palpatine was able to hide in plain sight among an entire council of the greatest Jedi at the time, right? So I don't think it was necessarily a pride thing. I think it was a more of he understood that Anakin was struggling and he had to stop Palpatine at all costs. But he couldn't quite see his future because, you know, Palpatine had clouded all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, those are really good points, and it's something good to think on too. With just between,
I'm just saying, if he was able to tap into the dark side, then I think he would have some struggles with it.
Yeah.
Yep,
And he was able to control it too.
JS coming in here. It's with also Palpatine. Literally, he was an evil genius
Mm-hmm.
in this movie. Not only overthrowing the Senate and making it an empire, but also destroying the Jedi to almost extinction. He was that clever,
Mm-hmm.
and making himself an emperor. It's like,
I'd say even more wise than Darth Plagueis.
yeah,
He was just-
he played everybody. He played everybody. Everybody was his little pawn. Even Anakin. He played Anakin.
Yep.
Somebody that was so powerful in the Force.
Mm-hmm.
He even played the Chosen One as well. But it was all meant to it, and like George Lucas said, he wants his original way that he wants people to watch it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to hopefully get people to where they understand that even though Anakin was in the dark side, he was still the chosen one. He still fulfilled his destiny as the chosen one. No matter what, he was the chosen one. And that's how it will always go. He was the chosen one that brought balance to the Force. So, let's go ahead and we will get into... We're going to kind of move through the original trilogy and sequel trilogy because we're picking up on some time here. I want to get to Planet of the Apes as well. So, the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, I always held A New Hope, and it's my opinion, of course. Like, I held A New Hope kind of the lowest out of a lot of the Star Wars. Out of the original and prequel trilogy, probably the lowest out of them. Just because, it was filling in for a lot of. It was the start of Vader's arc in the series.
Yeah.
And it was to me just like it didn't hit me near as much. Of course, the first time you get to see the crawl and stuff, and the fact that how just iconic everything was in there. But I remember finally watching it. I think it was whenever we got the video set. I think we watched a video set with that one guy back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching it. I'm like, okay, I thought this was the third one, and okay, now I get it because I found out about Phantom Menace. But anyway, so I remember watching A New Hope, and it didn't hit me near as much, just because it was just it was picking up the story. It was the one picking up the story, and you're like, what's going on right now? And then with Empire Strikes Back, it's probably I want to say I can't remember what I said. When I can remember, I put it as second, and out of all the Star Wars, to Revenge of the Sith. That the fact that it was so iconic because it was one of the times where the bad guys won, and it was at a time where a lot of the times the good guys did win. A lot of people weren't used to the bad guys winning, and you're like, okay, there. It shows that there was consequences in the galaxy, and that's the biggest thing whenever it comes to any character development, anything, that there has to be a failing arc. Whenever it comes to any character, everybody has to have it because it builds them. Everybody in real life has a point where they fail, and you learn from those failures to make yourself better. So that's where it goes into Empire Strikes Back and how it was a very iconic movie because you got the big twist that, no, I am your father.
Yeah, that is the actual term. It isn't Luke, I am.
No, I. And that's whenever you get, it's just the most iconic moment because you're like, oh.
Uh-oh. The table is turned.
And then you get the fact that it's just this big hero
Gets frozen in carbonite. And
so you're like, okay, we were all connected to this character, and you're like, oh crap, is this person
dead? You had no idea until the next movie. Of course, I did because of spoiler alerts. Because I watched that one first as a kid.
It gets into
Return of the Jedi, where as bad as Vader was, the fact that he knew that his son saw the good in him. It wasn't just Obi-Wan and stuff. It took his own son to bring him back to the light
and to realize his wrongdoings. And it was just such a great ending to the original trilogy that you could get, where you finally go from they got the crap beat out of them to now they found their place in the galaxy. They developed something. They pushed through, and Luke Skywalker turned somebody that a lot of people probably didn't, from the beginning, didn't think, oh, there's no way that they're going to be able to turn this guy back. Look how bad this guy is. He's got to go down. And he lived. He because of his son's love and care for his father, knew that there was good in him. And he threw his lightsaber, and that's whenever Vader really was like, oh, wow. And got up. Got the iconic scene where Luke's getting shocked, and then he picks him up and throws him down the shaft of the Death Star. And it was so iconic. It was everything finished. You got to see the ending of Anakin Skywalker's story of Star Wars to what he fulfilled. And he fulfilled his promise in that. Well, not his promise, but the prophecy, I should say.
So, the original trilogy, we will go to Spaghetti.
The original trilogy, I want to first start with New Hope, obviously, because it wasn't originally supposed to be a trilogy in the first place. So I think why the movie is the way it was is because there was no intention of there actually being the next two movies. So kind of separate. And then you look at The Empire Strikes Back, and because I'm assuming they didn't really expect to be coming back, but that's where they stepped it up and they changed the story around, because originally Luke and Leia were not supposed to be brother and sister, and Darth Vader wasn't supposed to be their father. But I really like the second one because it really starts. I think George Lucas was brilliant when it came to, you had a first movie and then you completely changed it and made it better and made it into something in The Empire Strikes Back, and then you get into the Return of the Jedi, and I think it was ultimately a really great ending to the story. So Empire, Return, and then A New Hope. But I think that's why A New Hope's kind of was the lowest for me.
Hmm. Yeah, another. Yeah, I remember. Like the fact that George Lucas wrote it, but somebody else directed it too, for Empire, is why it's up there. Because it was a different look on Star Wars, because it went more towards a darker route, as a Revenge of the Sith went on a darker route too. And the fact that you had, it's something about the fact that the good guys lost shows how good something can be, but it also can be it can kind of be, I guess, conflicted in the future whenever we get to the sequel trilogy, which will be coming up here very soon. So we're gonna try to be as respectful as we can whenever it comes to sequel trilogy, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So because we'll get there. Let's finish up the OT first.
Real quick.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the New Hope and George Lucas just putting that movie out there, well, Star Wars wouldn't be what it is. Obviously.
Yeah, we wouldn't have what we had.
But A New Hope has to be appreciated because even though it wasn't the best written out of those three, it's still made Star Wars what it is.
Oh
today.
yeah. Oh
So-
yeah.
So much appreciation for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like whenever I say it's like it's my least favorite out of the original trilogy, it's not me saying that it's the worst. Worst. Yeah, I love them all. No matter what in that series, I love them all. So yeah, that's kind of what I get down with. So, all right. Did you get to your Return of the Jedi yet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Strax.
Man, there's so much I could say about the original trilogy. So we know that A New Hope brought us into Star Wars. It brought the whole world into Star Wars. And back then, it had just started. It hadn't generated all this money yet. And it was just George's way to say, hey, here's what I have for you. Let's take a look at the story that I have. And it set everything ablaze. So it's always going to be a strong one for me. And then you get like Tim was saying here earlier, or Spaghetti was saying earlier, that The Empire Strike Back was its most iconic. And it was great because of a couple things. It starts introducing you to the full arc of who Vader is, why his fall was so important, why he is the chosen one, why he did what he did. And through his life, Anakin never had anybody, that really saw the goodness in him, aside from maybe Padme and his mother, and the greatness. He was always put aside or put to the side. And he said he always had to hide behind a wall because his love for Padme was frowned upon by the Jedi. He wasn't allowed to have this and that. So the whole reason he wanted power was so that he could literally make things the way he wanted them to be, where he didn't have to hide. He could be him and be proud. And the original trilogy kind of shows you that downfall, right?
Yeah.
We see in that last moment before he turns back and fulfills the prophecy, right? He sees his son dying, we'll say being ended by Palpatine in total shock and horror. And he's sitting there and you can see that struggle, even though you can't see the actor's expressions in that suit back and forth. He's there and he knows, what's the whole reason I even did this with this emperor? What's the whole reason I did it was for my family, to make things the way they could be. And now this last little shred of hope that I have is now being taken by the very person who was supposed to help me save Padme, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in Return of the Jedi, you can just feel that conflict. And he's finally like, yeah, I'm going to end this here. Takes Palpatine, throws him down, and he's back with his son. And it is just a wonderful story. And visually compelling. There's so much action going on. And nothing's going to beat, in my mind, the original trilogy, hands down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the fact, too, kind of going on what you were saying, he was tired of, because he grew up a slave to Watto, a slave to the Jedi, a slave to the Sith. And what he wanted in the end was, he ruled everything. He was no longer a slave. He was no longer taking orders or being controlled by somebody. He was calling the shots. It was going to be him.
Mm-hmm.
That it was going to be Anakin Skywalker, or really Vader, but in the end, though, his son redeeming him freed him.
Mm-hmm.
Finally freed him from all of that.
Yeah,
He was
really important.
Yeah, he was never free. He was never free, and I actually love that. I forget where I saw that at, but he's finally free after everything he went through.
Yep.
So very, very good points, both of you. Whenever it comes to Star Wars, because it's a very. This is why the fan base cares so much about Star Wars, where it's at and stuff, and what's coming up. Like everybody can identify with some kind of character in there, and that everybody sees that you can truly be lost, but you can also be redeemed, and you can get like Obi-Wan Kenobi. You can go through the worst things and still remain true to yourself. That's what defined Obi-Wan's character.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Skywalker, what defined him, the fact that he could have turned to the dark side, but he didn't. And he turned his own father, who was far into the dark side, after wiping out the Jedi, after blowing up planets, doing all that kind of stuff, and he came back. He came back. Now, this will bring us on to the point that I will say again that we will remain respectful and caring towards anybody about the sequel trilogy. So I remember, I'm not going to bring in any of the side stuff because it's going to go, I can do like maybe an episode, a discussion where we discuss Star Wars eventually and 100% full, but we're going to try to focus on the main movies as of right now. So I remember finding out whenever The Force Awakens first came out, I'm like, oh sweet, we're getting another Star Wars. It's been years. I can't wait. So I remember going to seeing it, and I remember initially loving it, because I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see where it's gonna go with Rey. I can't wait to see where it's gonna go with all these new characters we got. And like what's happening? Who's Rey's parents? We had all these theories and stuff. Oh, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh wow. So you just killed off one of the most iconic characters. That's pretty dark. And one of the biggest things was why didn't Leia hug Chewie, and why didn't? And I think to this day, I think even what was it? J.J. Abrams, I think it was, actually felt bad that he didn't do that. I think he was just rushing himself. I don't know, but anyway, back to it. It set the pace. And then we get to one of the probably most divisive moments in Star Wars, which caused this rift, was The Last Jedi, because it took all the story from the first one, and it's like it denied, oh, none of that stuff was important. Don't worry about it. And wanted to go. Each movie hurt itself prior. It kept hurting itself prior. So what The Last Jedi did is it mentioned who are your parents? Oh, they were nobodies. What? We're not gonna find out yet? Okay, it must be till the next movie, but of course eventually we did. We found out who it was, but anyway. There was just so much things that happened in The Last Jedi, like Canobite scene and stuff. I'm like, okay, what was the purpose of this? Because later on they went there to go get the what was it, coder or splicer, whatever he was, to go and hack into the Dreadnought. It's been a while since I've seen this, so pardon me for not knowing 100%. But anyway, you went and got this character, and it turns out that this character had literally no point. They didn't even need this character because this character betrayed them, so they ended up having to figure it out themselves. So they could have just went straight there and did the same thing. So there was just so much that didn't make sense at all with it. And it just set everything apart. you were setting up a new iconic villain with Snoke and just to kill him off right like that. And then just go straight back into discount Vader. But, Kylo Ren, he wasn't bad. I was actually really enjoying a lot of his character traits. But it just they just lost themselves, which now we can get into Rise of Skywalker. And that one tried to repair everything The Last Jedi did, but ended up hurting itself in the long run, in my opinion. Others, of course, I'm really glad that you love the sequel trilogy. I wish I could, but I can't. It's just not. I just don't feel as much for it, especially the fact that there was so much that they had set up in that first one that just went out of, like, they wanted to just appeal, and that's where it goes to appealing to the fans. So you got in Rise of Skywalker, we find out that the Palpatine, his body perished in Return of the Jedi, but his spirit went into another being. So we're like, okay, so we're going into Dark Empire. I think it was Dark Empire, is what it was. We're going in that kind of thing. We got a clone of Sidious, so where are we going to go now? Okay, so Sidious is Rey's grandfather. So now we're having, it's almost opposite, but it's a Sidious versus Sidious, really. Palpatine versus Palpatine, if you will. And it just kind of lost itself to, at least me there, where I'm like, initially I was like, okay, this is definitely better than The Last Jedi, but I can see how it can divide and kind of separate the fandom a little bit. But I'm kind of like, where were you trying to go with this? And then for them to come out later on to be like, okay, we didn't really know where we were going. We didn't have a lot of source material and stuff. I'm like, you had an entire original trilogy. The original creator of Star Wars is still alive. Gave you what you needed, so where were you going to go? And they did. Each movie was, what was it, a predecessor, or is that the right word, predecessor? The predecessor, it denied the one before that came before it. And I was just like, okay. After a while, I was just like, this is kind of getting a little bit, where are we now? So they ended up hurting themselves because they didn't know what they wanted to do. They were just trying to push it. But that's just my opinion on the sequel trilogy. I'm not a big fan of it. I didn't care for it near as much. But of course, I was brought up with the prequels and originals. I just kind of I had my way set. So it's everybody's own opinion whenever it comes to stuff like that. So, and I'm glad that anybody that has those opinions that are, it's great or it's not that great, that's everybody else's feelings on it. So we're going to go ahead with you, Strax.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people have opinions on the sequel trilogy. If I'm looking at it non-objectively, and and I'm putting aside all of my past with Star Wars, as far as artistry and things like that go, the graphics, things like that, it's beautiful. They're beautiful movies. They flow X, Y, Z, but the storytelling is, I think, where its downfall is. Even if I knew nothing about Star Wars, if I'm trying to follow the storyline, there's nothing about it that really makes me want to relate to it or like it. I think that they had potential with these characters. I think Rey could have been amazingly written with her backstory and stuff. They wasted those opportunities. Like Finn could have been a Force user and could have played even deeper on his character arc. A lot of these characters could have gone a long way, and they could have taken it that way. I think it was a beautiful movie, but it just didn't work for that reason. It almost feels like, like one toy company taking I don't know, like Lego versus like Build-A-Blocks or whatever, taking one thing and putting their own little spin on it, but it's not quite Star Wars. It's something that can look like it, but it's not quite it. It's almost like fan fiction, on the side. There are some things in it that I liked. Like I like the droids and stuff. I think they're adorable little things or what have you, like BB-8 and all that. But it's just nothing about it really drew me in. And like you said, with the original of the sequels that came out, the first one, um, like I was captivated. Like I wanted to know who Snoke was, who is Phasma, what's their background. They could have played on this whole arc, with her and Finn and such, and it just kind of went downhill. Are you holding Babu? Sorry,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just got that. I
sorry.
have a little delay there.
Yeah,
You gotta love Babu.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a good thing that came from the series too. But as far as the sequels go, I think they look good artistry and stuff, but it just never came across to me like real Star Wars. Like the story itself just is not as strong as the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. Um, now, if you like the series, it's no hate on you. Everybody's entitled to their opinions and what they like and stuff, and it's fun if you don't know much about Star Wars and all that. But it just seems like they're trying to get something else across as opposed to telling a good story. And what's going to sell movies, honestly, what's going to make them last is the story and how you can relate to it. And I could not find anything in them really I could relate to or enjoy. It's just all over the place. I didn't know what I was watching and when.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
All right, Spaghetti.
All right. Well, mine starts with. I'll start with this. I really, really, really loved Disney. Really loved Disney. And then George Lucas sold it. I didn't at first think it would have been a bad thing, a terrible thing. And I'm not saying everything that Disney has done with Star Wars is bad. I'm not saying that at all. They did some good things. But when you start with The Force Awakens, that movie, it made me excited. It's like, all right, exactly what Strack said. Who are these characters? And what are the backstories? I thought Rey was a good character. The only thing I really didn't like about The Force Awakens was the battling. It just didn't. The writing went off just a little bit in the first movie, but overall, like Strack said, it's a beautiful movie. It is. The art is amazing. The writing's a little off, just a little, not bad. But then you get into The Last Jedi, and I had a lot of high hopes, and where I was most interested was who Snoke was and who was that character. Not only that Andy Serkis played it, which is an awesome actor, but I really was disappointed on who Snoke turned out to be as these movies went forward. Terrible writing. They had so much potential with that character themselves. Now, not every character was bad in that movie. No, I don't think Rey was terrible. I don't think those extra characters they added to the movie were bad at all. Decent characters. And then you finally get to that last movie, and I can't remember because I haven't seen it in a while either. Was it The Last Jedi where Leia was flying in
Mary
space?
Poppins, yeah.
That's the only way.
That's exactly where I lost every hope for these movies. For me. Just for me. The writing I thought was absolutely terrible. You took an original character that was already awesome, and you made her a flying. I don't even know what to call it. It just ruined it. It ruined it for me. But we still went to the movie theater and tried to give it a chance.
Yeah.
And I think personally that The Rise of Skywalker was definitely a superior film to The Last Jedi for sure. But by that time it was too late. I mean, one movie I think ruined the trilogy.
Yeah, each movie, yeah.
It ruined the trilogy. They tried. It was cool to see Sidious again. It was. But that wasn't the hope. That wasn't the standard. You wanted a new villain. You wanted a new scary villain. That there was someone scarier than Darth Sidious, and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't do it. They
No.
just didn't do it. So that's the reason why I'm disappointed. Now, Force Awakens, if it was just a separate film on its own and they didn't have the last two, great movie. I thought it was a good movie.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah. I remember whenever. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. No, whenever we all, I'm pretty sure we all went to go see it together. I remember all of us had the same feeling. We're like, you know what? I can't wait to see what they do in the next one. And we all had the same exact feelings when we saw that. We're like, all right, let's see, where are we gonna go? So, yeah, no, okay, keep going there, Tim. Or sorry, Spaghetti.
It was a Force Awakens good movie overall.
Mm.
And then The Last Jedi was just it wrecked everything.
Yeah, each thing tried to.
It was too late.
Yeah,
it was too late.
Yeah,
They tried to fix it, and it was too late. They made literally the same movie. They copied and pasted and just tried to change it a little bit. There's no creativity to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one of the biggest complaints that I've seen with a lot. It's literally a copy and paste of the OT.
Yeah.
They took George Lucas's poetry, I think, to an extreme, let's just say. But it's all in all, they're out right now, and I'm glad we're seeing different aspects of different people whenever it comes to the sequel trilogy, and everybody has their different opinions with it, and everybody has their different opinions with everything. But one of the big facts is, like, we all grew up loving something from Star Wars, some aspect, and there's always something in there that'll keep you loving the brand. There's people that completely don't like what's going on with it currently, and there's still people that love Star Wars. But then you got the ones that love it, and I'm like, I gotta see what I can do to like this. And I always will give the chances, and I will never try. If I haven't seen it, I won't judge it. Like, I haven't seen Andor yet, so I don't have an opinion on it. Andor, I only saw like maybe one or two of that, so I was just. I'll get to it. I will get to it eventually.
I think honestly, the rule of thumb is don't create something that completely changes the traditional Star Wars. Don't create something that completely contradicts something that was amazing and then changes it and makes it not as amazing. A story could ruin the beginning of it can. The beginning of everything, and that goes with the shows. It goes with everything that you have with Star Wars. If you write something, it can ruin everything. So you should be careful. They need to be careful.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
so here.
Like I said, I loved Disney. I don't love it as much as I used to. I still like the originals and stuff, but not what some of the stuff, the laziness and what they're bringing out.
Yeah.
There's no originality anymore.
We keep getting the same sandwich every day. I kind of put it down with this. You get the same sandwich you eat every day for, let's say, a year straight. You eat it just because you need the nourishment. You love it. You just want it. It's one of those things that you need it to kind of itch that scratch. But it just doesn't hit you the same each and every time, and that's what's going on. In my opinion, probably like me and Strax and Spaghetti. It's definitely one of those things. But in the end, though, I still respect everybody. I still respect your love or your hate, because there's always somebody, even in each group, that either doesn't like the original trilogy, doesn't like the prequel trilogy, doesn't like the sequel trilogy, doesn't like what's going on. But that's everybody's opinion,
and everybody's built to that their opinions, and that's why you're individuals and all built as individuals. So you keep being you, and you're all special and special in that aspect that you all have your opinions. It's not formed by anybody else. Nobody walks in there and says, "Oh, I hate this." Okay, you should hate this too. Okay, I hate it. No, you form your own.
I think opinions can also be formed based off when you were born.
Mm-hmm.
So the lifetime that you're living in, you're gonna see things now that are probably less appealing to us. Like we were born in the '90s. To present day kids or people that have been born closer to now, they're gonna have different opinions because this is what they grew up on. So their nostalgic is gonna be this, not what ours is.
Yeah.
So I think opinion does matter in that aspect too.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So anyway, we're gonna get to our next point, but not before I cover this chat here. Watching Force Awakens plus in the Disney Springs Theater, Goosebumps. That was a crazy experience. That I can't even imagine that experience, but I guarantee that was awesome. I get going in there to watch it being the first film of the new, and just seeing the first crawl the first time, and a very iconic place. Never been.
That's amazing, and that's
yeah. So that is awesome, JS. It's a good memory. It's these memories that go around no matter what. You see all these memories and like these great moments in your life. So it's always surrounded, and that's why Star Wars is so impactful towards everybody in the fandom. Everybody in the fandom, it affects them. And don't ever change who you are. Always care about what you care about, and always take care for people that are enjoying or hating. Just be like, okay. So
even appreciate the haters.
Yeah. Like,
without the haters, you don't make anything better.
Oh yeah. So it's
critics.
Yeah. Right now, it's the job of Disney and stuff to do what they can do. We can say what we can, but all in all, they're the ones that write this down and put it out. Here's just a great example.
They're making Toy Story 5. I love Toy Story. I'm gonna still go watch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So let's go ahead into our. Oh, hold on one sec. Plus, another reason why I love the sequels a lot. They were the first Star Wars movies I saw in theaters since I was too young to see it. Yep. And that is where I can see with a lot of the love, like our first watch in the theaters were prequel trilogy, and we grew up. We loved the prequel trilogy. We had issues with some of the prequel trilogy stuff.
See what I mean? It goes from generation.
Yeah.
That's it's not necessarily a difference of opinion. It's when you were born and why you appreciate these movies, where you come from. So.
Yep, like JS, you have the exact feeling that we had with the prequel trilogies, and just like the generation before us had with the original trilogies. So everybody's, I love that. I love the fact that, because that's why I will never talk bad to anybody that either likes or hates. I'll never talk bad, because that is the feeling. Was away for a bit. Who you talking to? JS. I'm talking with Spaghetti Yeti and Straxwell. Yes.
By the way, I appreciate that comment, JS. That's that makes that point even more clear. I mean, it's
hands down.
Yep. Because we all have those feelings, and
without different generations, you wouldn't be able to move forward. So
no.
Yeah.
They would just stop.
Yep. So it is. So
Cad Bane. Awesome. Love Cad Bane.
Oh no, y'all think he's still alive?
I hope he's still alive.
He's
a cool bounty hunter.
Oh yeah.
He's one of my favorite Clone Wars characters. And one of the Clone Wars characters came out of that whole show.
Yeah.
The gunslinger, yo.
Oh yeah.
Western style.
Yep. So let's go ahead. We're going to move to the next point, and now that is bread and butter, like Planet of the Apes, bread and butter. Tim, I also hope you're in the chat here right now too. Planet of the Apes, starting from the originals to the new
There's a
reboots.
lot here.
Taking paws off me, you darn dirty ape.
Yeah,
No, just say the real line, you damn
No.
dirty apes.
yeah, no, yeah. So, Planet of the Apes.
I will say recently we did get a board game for
Mhm.
Planet of the Apes. And and it actually says you dang dirty apes. So,
Yeah.
they actually
They
did change
changed
it
it.
for the board game, which
A lot
is
of people
funny.
are upset
So,
about that, by the way. But anyway, let's. Also, I just scored a heck of a pickup. I got all 6 Star Wars movies on 4K, but just with the Blu-rays in it. Stupid heart. Hold on, there's a stupid heart. I hate this heart.
Mhm.
Is it? What does it say? But I'll
able
be
to
able.
find
Yeah,
the
but I'll
4K
be able to.
later.
Yeah. Now that's cool. That's a great haul right there. That is a great haul.
Indeed.
Yeah, that is a great haul in the Star Wars fandom right there.
I also hope he's alive too, DB.
Yes.
He's a cool character.
Yes. So.
Yes.
Planet of the Apes. This will probably be the final point we get to. We might do another one of these movie streams later on, sometime throughout this month or next month. Anyway, Planet of the Apes. I remember the first time that I've ever even seen Planet of the Apes, and it was with Dad. And I remember him having every single one on video cassette. He had that, and I think he had the series as well on video cassette. I just remember watching those movies, and I'm like, talking apes. And then I remember seeing the kiss between an ape and a human. And I'm like, what is this? I have no idea what this is. Why is a human kissing a monkey? Or sorry, sorry, I used the M word. An ape. I'm not allowed to use the M word. Planet of the Apes.
That's insulting. That is a race card in the Planet of the Apes, sir, and you should be disappointed.
So saw that, dude. Yeah, that is awesome. But like, it's Planet. I remember just watching it, and like, it freaked me out at first because I'm like, I don't want to be taken by apes. I don't want to be in a cage. But then I realized
what's
that.
so ironic is growing up, your favorite animal was a monkey.
Use the M word again.
Well, that's what it was. You liked monkeys.
I did.
You didn't like apes, monkeys.
Oh yeah, I did. That's what I called them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, Tim. Not Anyway,
I will go by saying this. My favorite ape is the orangutan. So the reason why, I'll give you a little small story. No, not because of Maurice.
It's a spirit animal, huh?
Yeah, but I remember going into the Pittsburgh Zoo, okay, and going up to see the orangutans. And the only reason they're my favorite is you couldn't see them in the cage, okay? But when you got close to the glass and you looked up, you'd see these guys up there with their legs up in the air, not holding anything, just their arms, staring down at the glass, staring at you with their legs up in the air. And just like, huh? And for some reason, ever since then, that's why they became my favorite ape, because they're weirdos, and I love weirdos. They're fantastic.
Like you.
Yeah, like me.
You ever see that creepy one that was staring? I can't remember what it was called. That creepy one that's just staring, just menacingly at people as they walk by, and they're like, "If this ape ever gets out, we're screwed." But anyway,
You look at an orangutan, and they're staring. They're intimidating.
Oh yeah.
He's like, soon.
Soon we will get out and we will rise. And
Like
the apes will become alive.
Maurice is a perfect example. Intimidating if he's just sitting there staring at you. You don't know what he's thinking.
Oh yeah.
His face is so plain.
Yep. So let's go ahead. Because we are pushing 2 hours and 13 minutes on this stream right now. So anyway, Planet of the Apes we'll start with the Charlton Heston and it was McDowell. Anyway, I'm not gonna hold up there. So anyway, the first one I remember watching as a kid, but I'm gonna kind of go with my most recent memories because I recently went through every single one with say it was Timotheus, DB, and Troha popped in there for a little bit. I don't know if you
I was
popped in
there.
at LJS. No, were you there for whenever
I watched 2 of them with you.
Oh yeah, so as well as Straxwell was there too whenever we watched. So I recently went through every single one, and of course I went to go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Loved it, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Great movie. Great. So anyway, Charlton Heston ones. It's goes down as like one of the biggest twists is that it was actually on Earth. It wasn't just a planet of the apes, just some random planet like the Tim Burton one. Because the Tim Burton one was not based on Earth. It was actually based on a different planet.
Still a decent movie. I don't care what anybody says.
I think it's a good movie too.
We'll get to that one.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah. No, with a lot of people, yeah. But anywho, it's just going through and watching those movies from beginning to end is so great. I need to somehow get a hold of the actual TV series.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I just remember going through and watching them recently and just being so happy with every single one and how unique the originals are to the new ones. So with the original ones, you got Planet of the Apes. I love that one. Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I love that one. You had Beyond the Planet of the Apes. Was after Beneath.
Yeah.
And then you had Conquest.
No, after Beneath was Escape.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, Beneath, Escape, then Conquest. I don't.
Beneath, Conquest, and then
It wasn't War, right? It was
Battle.
Battle. Yeah, Battle for the planet.
Yeah, Battle.
Yeah. So anyway, there's all of them. It was awesome. Caesar and those, awesome. Roddy McDowell is what it was. It finally came up.
Roddy McDowell made that series.
Yes. Roddy McDowell made that series. Yeah, a lot of people think Charlton Heston with that, but Roddy McDowell went through, was in every one of them.
I think so.
Yeah, every single one of them. Roddy McDowell was in, was carrying that. Caesar, Cornelius. It was just awesome. Vera, that was, it's iconic. Everything hit, and it just kept hitting. They all were also unique in their way, and it kind of played with a timeline. Because if you look at it, the original from, let's say, Planet of the Apes to Beneath was actually because of Aldo. Because Aldo was the original one in that, and Aldo was also in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, was the gorilla in that, and Aldo was the first one that said no. Because it was explained in Escape. So what happened in Escape was they changed the timeline. That Aldo was no longer the first ape to say no. It was Caesar. Caesar was the one that rose above the humans and stuff and helped the apes get free. So that's the way I kind of see it, that there was a nice little time split, because you won't really understand it until you watch through the whole series a few times, or maybe you watch it on the first time and you got it right off the bat, which is cool. But whenever I kind of this last watch through, I'm like, wait, Aldo was the one that was in. Holy crap! It literally changed timelines, and that's how I feel with the newer ones that came out. We almost went the route of Aldo saying no, but it was still Caesar. But it was a different way of doing it with Caesar. But anyway, the original ones, Roddy McDowell and stuff, were perfect. No matter what, throughout the entire thing, it was a perfect series, and I loved it. I've seen, I think, everyone except for Rise of the Planet of the Apes in theaters, but I've seen every one with my brothers here in theaters that came after Rise. The Tim Burton one, which I can see some of it being cringe too. No matter what, there is always cringe to it. Whenever you got that scene with the orangutan and the chimp, that was just weird. Yeah, I would
So
do
wrong.
I would do it, but I'd have to go. You know.
You gotta do the arm thing, you know.
Yeah, I got to do the arm thing, but I don't know if that's a good idea.
But in all honesty, do you think they're gonna freaking make out and do the thing like freaking human beings? No.
No, it was just a weird moment, and we witnessed it. So,
Even the little girl in the cage dressed as a little doll was creepy.
yeah, it's just like, okay, what's going on? But the fact that that was not on Earth, it was because it was based on a different planet. Because if you see whenever he's leaving the planet, you'll see I think it's more than one moon next to it, so you know it's not Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that scene where he's actually going into the future of that planet, not Earth. It was weird. It was not. I didn't find that out till I'm like, wait a second. I always thought that was Earth, and I googled it and stuff, and there it was. It was not Earth. It was a different planet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you didn't have that iconic moment. It was just what was the moment in that was the fact that all the apes turned into that on this planet. So now it just it was different for me. I still like it. I'll watch it any day. Like anytime anybody's like, "Hey, let's watch this," I'll still watch it. It's not my favorite Planet of the Apes movie, but it's not the iconic. Great actors in it, of course. But yeah, it's a good series. So I'm gonna go ahead and get let's go ahead and go with Strax Will on the Planet of the Apes, because I want to save the one that 100% loves and lives Planet of the Apes for last. So go ahead, Strax.
Oi. Yeah, the whole series itself is a lot of fun. I remember the first time watching through it, actually sitting through it was a bit back, and trying to understand and comprehend all of it at that time. I didn't really grasp it, but as I got older and went back to them, and I just recently watched through them too because of the movie release, it definitely a good series. And I think it's like the first series really in cinematic history that explores parallel universes and what's happening in them, or what can happen with time travel, and switching things off like that. And it's very interesting, captivating. It also, the series helps you kind of reflect on society and how you treat other people that might be different than you, etc. And you can see a lot of the cultural things come out in the series. And it's a good way to kind of help us explore and process those kind of things in reality. The makeup art and such like that, even back then, was pretty good. And if I'm not mistaken, the person who helped Patterson make the Bigfoot costume, see, I don't know if there's Bigfoot believers out there or whatever that are watching this, but apparently he helped make the costume for Bigfoot. Shut up. Fantastic for the time period. And it's interesting to see modern day acting versus back then acting. It's like a whole different universe almost as you're looking into it. But I like the original 70s series as they came out, and like you were saying, how the timeline just split and how it ended, and how they ended this series, I thought was great. How they were living together as ape and humans in the end. That we never actually saw the mutants fully come out after all the radiation, because it stopped in that final film back then when they had that last little war. I thought all of that was amazing to see. Yeah, it was so well thought out whenever they composed all of that. And I really like what they are doing with the modern one as well. It's enough of a callback to the series, but at the same time, it's a captivating story. It brings forth new life into the series. And I just think they did a wonderful job with how they're writing it. And I loved Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I liked Rise. I liked all of the stuff in between. And it's just I think it's a good thing to go through with friends, like a good series to go through with friends and just watch and enjoy and discuss. And it's just a good series.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then now we're gonna go to somebody who loves this series dearly. and watches it every New Year's. The originals, the 70s.
Yeah. So I love, am in love with Planet of the Apes. I love it. I my favorite all time, hands down. Yeah, I like Star Wars. I like all this stuff, and I know it's not popular opinion, but that's okay. Planet of the Apes is my Star Wars. All right.
No, that's
So
good.
starting from the first one here, okay. The original is all time awesome favorite. You have Charles Heston and all these amazing actors in the back then, and the artistry and the setting, the sets. This movie was beautiful, and I still think it's beautiful. It's a work of art. The story itself, I believe, is actually based off a book. I haven't read it.
Mhm.
That's a book that I should read. It's actually based off Planet of the Apes book originally. But going into this, the weakest out of the old movies, and I'm sorry, Timotheus, this is why I had to talk to you about this, is Beneath the Planet of the Apes. The reason I say that is because those mutants that are able to like make your mind, their do things with their mind and make people do things. I just couldn't really get on board with that. So I think it is the weakest out of all of them. And then you get into Escape from Planet of the Apes, which not a lot of action. There is action in it, but not a lot of action. But the story is great. You have two apes that are coming in, and everybody's looking at them weird, and they haven't talked yet. But going through the whole process of seeing, and we'll go back when we go to the new trilogy and stuff. We'll talk about it a little more where they're testing the woman ape, and then she talks. Whoa! What? Amazing!
What is
What's
it? What was it? She said, "I loathe bananas."
I loathe bananas is when it is seen that the apes can talk.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it goes through this whole awesome story. And if you haven't seen it, I advise it. I think it's amazing. They go through this whole thing, and then boom, you get to freaking Caesar. Caesar is in the next one where he takes over everything. And I tell you what, the concept of how they did it back then, putting leashes, yeah, kind of in the new stuff, but putting leashes on the monkeys, or I'm sorry, monkeys, apes, and but they would have been called monkeys because honestly, there was racism towards these apes when Caesar was starting to take power and change and starting to take control. Just there's a wow factor in that. They're all wearing just the reality of people that are in monkey costumes, but the art, and it just amazes me. They did an amazing job, and then you get all the way into battle, and that's like Strax said, where you have all the mutants. I'm not really a big fan of mutants. I mean, I get it, but I like how they did it better in the new stuff, whether we have mutants in those or not. I don't think they're going to go with that route. But then we get into the new trilogy. You can enjoy this completely separate, but they do a lot of beautiful nods and the beautiful things going back to the old movies. Love it. Like for example, going back to Zero and her being able to do all these tests, and then you go to Caesar's mother, Bright Eyes, and she's able to do all these amazing things. But they added a small twist to it. They added all of this cool modern, you could see it type stuff almost. Obviously not all of it, but and then how they get from escaping and then going into their own land and all that stuff. Yeah, Rise was good. But then my favorite one of all time, Team Koba. Anybody? Team Koba?
Get that
Um,
Koba out of here.
I love Koba. Because I like his story. I just like how he didn't like humans because of what they did to him, and he wasn't able to get past it. And then there's a little bit of the same thing when you go into war, and it's beautiful writing to me where Caesar's going through the same exact thing. Caesar couldn't get over it, just like Koba couldn't get over it, and that was ultimately Caesar's downfall. But then you get into the new movie Kingdom, and when you look at that, and they just do amazing things with how, if you haven't seen the movie, how they represent Caesar and stuff. It just did a good job. I don't want to spoil it because it's a fantastic film. But the music and how all these ties throughout the whole new stuff, how it's beautifully written, and amazing acting and all this stuff. And you're able to get connected with new characters each movie, which was awesome. And I'm gonna save this for last because the unpopular opinion of Planet of the Apes, Tim Burton style. The art in that movie, I will say, was really good.
Oh yeah.
How much time they had to do for that makeup, how much time they had to do for all the sets was a step up from the original stuff. Yeah, the writing wasn't so on par like the old ones, but that movie in itself was a beautiful movie. The setting, and I honestly liked the twist in it a little bit, not a little more, but a little bit. So I was able to enjoy that separate. And the whole idea where there's two moons and it's a different planet. That's the twist. I'm kind of like, that's okay. But overall, not a bad movie. But I could talk about Planet of the Apes all the time if I wanted to. That's like, it's my favorite. We have, like I said, we just have recently got a board game for it, and they're coming out with something else that we
They're coming out with a D&D style role playing game for it.
Yeah, but much appreciation for Planet of the Apes. And guess what? Next New Year's, Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah. Now,
all your ones.
Yep. Now going back to the remakes, I remember at first like the Planet of the Apes were kind of like at like a little bit of a okay, not too bad, and then they came out with this new one. I'm like, okay, let me check this out. I don't know. Let's see how this is. This is what brought me to really loving Planet of the Apes, like truly loving Planet of the Apes. So whenever I first saw Rise, I'm watching this thing. I'm like, oh wow, that's a guy that plays Gollum and King Kong. Oh wow, this was before Snoke and stuff. And I'm like, what? Wow. I agree with the Jay over at EOM. They need to make a mocap category for the, what is it, Oscars or whatever it is. They need to make one. This guy deserves an award for his portrayal of Caesar throughout this series. Never have I thought that I would have such a connection to an ape like this until his portrayal of Caesar. And throughout the entire trilogy, the new trilogy, his portrayal was awesome. So anybody that hasn't seen Planet of the Apes, I do recommend. It is the new trilogy, the new ones, like they go down in their greatness, just like the original ones, and it kind of is on its own. So you can watch a new one before the old one, or you can watch the old one before the new one, any way that you want to. That's why they set this series up like it is. It's like in another parallel universe. Mm-hmm. So this is just like going, and after that, I went to go see Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And ever since then, we made it a tradition so far that me, Strax, and Spaghetti Yeti will see these movies together. We've seen every single one except for Rise of the Planet of the Apes in theaters. I don't know if you saw Rise of the Planet of the Apes in theaters, either you two, but I didn't get to. But the fact that it's like a nice little bond that I share with you two is awesome. And it's like the portrayal through each one, you really feel a connection with these apes that you didn't really realize, you didn't really think about. It's just an awesome little thing that we got. I remember watching Dawn and just being like, I'm Team Caesar, by the way. I'm not Team Koba. The reason I'm not Team Koba, especially after War for the Planet of the Apes, what's up with all his little followers, huh? They like humans or something? Huh? Explain that to me, huh?
No,
Which is
they.
waste.
Well, if you actually listen in the movie, they only join the humans because they're afraid of Caesar.
That's why Caesar is king.
Yeah, they're afraid of Caesar. Because they followed Koba.
Yeah.
You got to remember, he said Koba, not ape.
Yep. Koba, not ape.
So what do you think he's going to say about his followers? He wouldn't.
Oh, he said
He
it.
wasn't going to, but he said it to
Yeah.
Koba because Koba went too far.
Yeah.
His followers were just following because what do apes do? They follow their strongest branch.
Yeah. And that's why he said that they're just afraid. They fear what. The only one that stood out was Donkey.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
But
I don't
I'm a Koba fan because I understand why he hates humans.
Mm-hmm. And
why he has so much hatred for them. And I think Koba, other than Caesar, is one of the best, if not second, or very close to first, well-written apes in the entire series.
Oh yeah, like
He's fleshed out. He's just fleshed out beautifully.
Every single
And
one, yeah.
I think Dawn does it fantastic.
Here's another one, the Maurice.
Maurice, yes.
Maurice is a greatly acted by a great actress, motion cap actress. She did such a great job with Maurice.
She studied orangutans.
Yeah.
She studied their movements and stuff.
Yep.
She was able to do these cool things with orangutan.
Mm-hmm. And that just shows and stuff. And like, did you ever see it's this? I think it's a British talk show or something like that. They had. What was it? They had Andy Serkis on there. Tom Holland was there. I forget who else was there. But he actually went on there to kind of show them how he walks like an ape and stuff. So they have these like little crutch things that they're able to kind of look like they're moving around, and they just kind of wobble around and stuff. That's how they did it. And he actually taught Tom Holland how to walk like an ape. So I mean that it just shows that it's such an iconic guy doing what he did, and his portrayal, just his movements. And it's one thing to act by just talking, it's another thing to act whenever you do facial expressions, and the audience can read exactly what that person's thinking instead of them having to say it. You see it in their face, their facial expressions, and that is what the awesome thing about Andy Serkis's portrayal here is he was able to do that. Same with Maurice. Even Rocket. I loved Rocket. Talk about a character that was started out as this big brooding on the tough guy to one of the right hands of Caesar. Rocket was an awesome character. Koba. Everybody that has been in those mocaps in Rise through Kingdom, I give them so much credit. So, like, the first ones, of course, you had a lot of sign language, but you had to see a lot of the feeling and the concern that Andy Serkis had that he was able to put through with this character. And it was awesome. Love the new series. Great series.
Yeah.
All right.
One more thing about Koba, real quick. I know I'm a big Koba fangirl, but I think there's a Koba in everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a Koba where you're gonna hate something so much that it can change you. There's people that you can hate something so much and it's gonna change your personality. It's gonna change everything about you. Even like Darth Vader and his hatred. I mean, going back to Star Wars a little bit, but there's a little bit of this in everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We have hatreds for things, and they change you. It wasn't that Kobo was a bad ape. It's just Kobo was blind by hate, and people are blind today by hate. And I think there's beautiful symbolism in the character of Kobo. And that's why I appreciate that character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'll never say that Koba was a terrible character. I loved Koba. The anger that Koba. I kind of put Koba down with like Shane Walsh from The Walking Dead, because it was a friend that saw that the only way to push through this is by doing a lot of these sacrificial things, and that's what he did. He didn't care. In the end, he was starting to kill apes.
Yeah.
Even he didn't hold anybody out. He started becoming more to himself. He cared more. He only cared about himself than he did anything else.
Yeah.
And that's what really hit him. So we're going to be ending this soon. So I want to get Strax's opinion on the new. So you ready, Strax?
Yeah. Sorry, it got off there a little bit for me. So it is. Yeah, as far as the new ones go, I love it. I think it's fantastic writing all in all, from the beginning to the end. The whole outbreak was brought on by somebody that was simply trying to save their father. That connection, that care for them. And then in the pathway to try to do something great, there's suffering, right, between innocent. And I think that's kind of like where Spaghetti Yeti was kind of getting to with Koba as well, Somebody trying to do something good ends up somebody somewhere is going to suffer. And in the end, like that one act that he was trying to save his father from Alzheimer's, and the degradation of Alzheimer's led to an entire societal breakdown, so that the apes would eventually rise to power. And then you just saw the slow descending digression of the humans over the apes as well. I like the series a lot. I enjoy it a lot. I love going in. I love what they're doing with it. The artistry, the writing is fantastic. That's what I think a lot of the modern movies are lacking these days, is being able to break down a character and a story in such a way that it drives your audience to wants to be there. You don't need to hit brackets of nostalgia to fill those seats, right? If you write a good story with good characters that draws people into it, you're going to have a much more successful time in theater. I really think that. Whether or not you have opinions on things or right or left, it's how you explore those worlds. And I think that the new Planet of the Apes series definitely does a wonderful job of that as well. It brings characters to life, and ironically through non-human characters that are acting remarkably human. So I like it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. The fact we do have a lot, even though we're brothers, we do have our different opinions about things, and that's what's great. That's great about all these series that we talked about today. We still love each other, and that we're still there no matter what we love and what we hate. We'll joke around with each other like let's go back to the Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Oh my goodness.
Let's just say
wrong with that?
Spaghetti Yeti did not like our opinion on that movie. Me and Strax liked the movie. Spaghetti Yeti thought that it was an abomination, even though there were Yetis in it.
Yeah, there's Yetis. You should love it.
Okay, listen. It ruined it for me because the Yetis were freaking good. Come on. No, Yetis aren't good. No.
Hey, they played football.
So
Yeah.
bad. So bad.
I'm gonna go watch that when we're done with the stream, just to spite you.
Yeah, just us. Yeah, I'll never forget that one.
I tried to like it.
Don't get me wrong, it's not like amazing, but I think it was horrible.
It kind of went away
Now-
from the horror aspect and went more towards an adventure.
Yeah.
Return of the Mummy.
But
Yeah, no, this has been
The
a
Mommy Returns.
this is
Yeah.
this has been a really fun time. By the way, like I enjoyed
Mhm.
our little chats here. I hope all of you in chat enjoyed it because it was just a nice little fun little thing. I will get back to gaming eventually, of course, but right now it's kind of tough. So
Make it work.
make my hand okay. I can cut it off. I can.
Don't be a Rick.
Hey, I can play Swiftborn. I can do that one hand. It's about as far as I can go playing games.
Nice.
Actually, you could use a controller. All you need is your thumb for the left analog.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'll be like this. I'm like,
Take my strong hand.
my other hand ain't strong enough. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get ready to close out here. I want to thank both Spaghetti and Strax for joining me today for this It was really an impromptu, but I was gonna try to hold it earlier. But this movie, you got to see three brothers who grew up together. We do have our different opinions on some stuff. A lot of them, we have a lot of similar ones too. But I highly recommend the movies we talked about: Jurassic Park, Star Wars, and Planet of the Apes. They're all great franchises, and we will be probably doing another one of these for different movie franchises. We can start diving into more. We were going to try to do it, but we spread pretty long here. But I'm glad I got to.
One we didn't get to touch was Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another really good one.
Oh yeah,
We'll have a good discussion on that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That'd probably just be its own stream.
Yeah, we'll do a definitely discussion maybe before I get back into Alien Isolation, which will be coming out. So my plans is try to finish up Alien Isolation before Halloween, and then whenever I hit Halloween, I want to dive into the new Doom series, not the original one, because just because I think they're separate, and I want to try to line it up to eventually. Hopefully it comes to PC. I think it is playing Doom Dark Ages, which looks epic, by the way. So I want to try to get into that series. It has a great soundtrack and everything to it. So I hope you're looking forward to that for this Halloween. And I will be bringing back the Halloween stream design too. So that way we can get into the festive year. The month of my birth, and maybe I think my birthday's on a weekend this year, so I might be able to do a stream that weekend for a birthday weekend. So, but it's been a great time, so we'll be doing that. I'll be doing Alien Isolation. I'm still gonna try to get back into Sonic too. Don't worry, Strax, you can judge my.
I'll roast you.
Yeah, you've already roasted me enough, but it's never enough.
I've beaten that game in every way you can beat it.
Yeah, I'd like to see you beat it on this.
Okay.
And get all the diamonds or whatever, the Chaos Emeralds on here.
Mm-hmm.
Get those on the way I'm playing this cat. But no, I'll probably get into that. I'll see if there's any other games that I kind of want to play on the side too, just as like some quick maybe one-offs. Mm-hmm. I might do some Battlefront sometime again. So I might do maybe a stream for SWTOR sometime because maybe I can do it sometime soon. But
Jurassic Park Survivor.
Oh yeah, that one. When does that come out again? I think they said. Hi Tim, welcome back. You just missed our talk about Planet of the Apes, and you just missed. My brother
I just totally roasted Beneath Planet of the Apes for you.
Yeah, you missed Tim's roast. But don't worry, it was all good.
It's just my least favorite. Don't worry.
Yeah. Which Timotheus is a big understander of everybody else that is entitled to their opinion. So, but we will be getting back into gaming very soon. I'm going to try to do it a little bit more. My streams have been back and forth. Ape, not kill ape, right? Ape together strong.
Not kill ape.
There is
used it.
There is a VR game on PC, by the way, for Planet of the Apes. If you didn't know.
Koba is not ape, but Koba is very well written character.
me and Tim are Team Caesar. So yeah.
Drax turned on me. I think he's Team Caesar now.
Team Koba, death to all humans, yeah!
Hey, all your followers went to humans
You know why?
out of
Because
fear.
we're Team Koba, yeah!
Yeah, you gonna go follow humans, huh? Hey, we love that
So
series.
see, in the long run, Koba was right. Because we're humans, sticking with humans.
Yeah.
Ape, not join human. So thanks again, everybody, for this stream today.
Oh,
It's
wait,
been
real quick, I'm sorry. Caesar is weak. Koba, weaker.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So weaker. No, this has been a really fun time. Again, I'm gonna thank both my guests here. So you'll be seeing a lot
Thanks
more
for
of them.
having us.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
It's been a great discussion today. Again, look for games in the future. Halloween time's coming up. We still got a little while, but I will be bringing back those streams. We do have to finish up that last level of Devour at one point. And then I might do just like I said, I'll do some one-offs. I'll probably do a one-off with SWOTOR sometime soon. I know I'm pretty much like a broken record, so thank you again, everybody. This has been Yava's Corner. I will be back full in probably next week. Look forward to it. All of you have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you in the next one. You are all